Chapter 31 50%. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the second day, Lin Chen came to a bamboo forest in the back mountain of the courtyard. The bamboo forest was quite wide, and Lin Chen could practice the ancient bronze body refining technique here. He found a large bluestone and sat on it. Then, he flipped his hand and took out the bodybuilding pill and looked at it carefully. This bodybuilding pill can be used to practice the ancient bronze body refining technique, but I don't know if this pill can help me break through to the third level. If I can advance to the third level, then I will have a better chance of entering the inner gate. Lin Chen said to himself, as one of the 5 major sects in Yannan Territory, Tianji Sect has a large number of disciples. Among them, there are disciples like Lin Chen who hide their strength and want to make a splash in the secret realm of Tianluo mountain. And you know, according to the previous rewards, only disciples who successfully pass through the secret realm of Tianluo mountain can enter the inner gate, but it is not easy to successfully pass through the secret realm of Tianluo mountain. There are many difficulties in the secret realm of Tianluo mountain, and it is difficult to take a step. Without strong strength, it is impossible to successfully pass through the secret realm of Tianluo mountain, but there is no doubt that the ancient bronze body refining art is powerful. If he cultivates to the third level of broken copper rebirth, and a punch has a huge force of 10,000 pounds, then he will have a much greater chance of passing through the Tianluo mountain secret realm. Lin Chen took a deep breath, then jumped down from the big bluestone, pulled out the fine steel sword with a clang, and practiced swordsmanship. Before taking the bodybuilding pill, Lin Chen must maintain his peak will so that he can impact the third level of the ancient bronze body refining art. Chi 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 chi, Lin Chen's body moved with the sword light, sometimes leaning forward, sometimes leaning back, and the fine steel sword in his hand also kept rotating, leaving a trail of afterimages in the air, stabbing out and retracting very quickly. Many bamboo leaves in the bamboo forest were split in half by Lin Chen's fine steel sword, making a slight sound. After a set of swordsmanship was finished, Lin Chen took a step forward, released the sword energy in his body, attached to the fine steel sword and hit a large bluestone in front. Boom! The sword energy hit the big bluestone, and there was a dull and extremely loud sound. The big bluestone also shattered into countless pieces with the loud sound. Outside the small courtyard, boom! The sound of the big bluestone shattering came. Xuelingyun, who was walking here, was stunned, and her expression was slightly stern. What a sharp sword energy! This courtyard should be Lin Chen's residence. Could it be that this sword energy was released by him? Xuelingyun hesitated slightly, and walked over following the sound. In the bamboo forest, Lin Chen put away his sword and stood, looking at the broken bluestone in front of him and thinking to himself, although I can only emit 3 sword energies, it is much more condensed than the last time I fought Mal Yang. I just don't know how much I have mastered now. During this period in the Maoyan Mountains, in addition to daily hard training, Lin Chen never stopped practicing sword energy, striving to achieve great sword energy as soon as possible and enter the sword intent stage. Lin Chen took a breath, adjusted his breath, and was about to take the bodybuilding pill, but at this moment, a very slight sound of footsteps came suddenly. The footsteps were very small, obviously the person who came deliberately did it. However, Lin Chen's brain was nourished by the mist of the small tripod every moment, and his soul power was already extremely strong. He could hear even the slightest sound clearly. Who is it? Lin Chen turned around suddenly and saw Xuelingyun standing not far from him with a smile. Junior brother has good hearing. My Lingbo Weibu has been practiced to perfection recently. The sound when walking is extremely slight. Even a warrior of the same level as me can hardly detect it. I didn't expect that junior brother noticed it so quickly. Xuelingyun smiled when she saw Lin Chen turn around. Lin Chen smiled, knowing that Xuelingyun had not finished speaking, so he did not say anything. Sure enough, Xuelingyun continued, today I wanted to ask you about the 7-star chain sword. When I walked outside the courtyard, I heard the sound of you practicing sword. I came uninvited. Junior brother, you won't blame me, right? Sister Xue's visit is a great honor to my humble place. How can I blame you? Lin Chen shook his head and smiled. Xuelingyun's sudden visit surprised Lin Chen, but he didn't think much of it. When he was with Xuelingyun, he always felt happy. Xuelingyun looked at the bamboo forest. The bamboo forest was in a mess at the moment, with small bluestones scattered everywhere. In addition, the remaining sword energy in the bamboo forest was slowly flowing, shining brightly. Seeing this, Xuelingyun's eyes shone, and she said, "This is such a powerful sword energy. I don't know what kind of sword technique my junior brother is practicing, which has such great power. I'm sorry to make you laugh, senior sister. I have a little understanding of sword energy recently, and what I just performed was a sword energy attack." Lin Chen said. "Sword energy? You actually understood sword energy?" Seeing that Lin Chen didn't seem to be joking, Xuelingyun was immediately shocked. The sword intent is ethereal, and only 1 in 10,000 can comprehend the sword intent. As the initial state of the sword intent, the difficulty of comprehending the sword energy is no less than that of the sword intent. More importantly, comprehending the sword energy means that Lin Chen is very likely to comprehend the sword intent in the future. Xuelingyun has met many talented disciples, but she has never heard of anyone who can comprehend the sword spirit. Lin Chen's ability to comprehend the sword power is simply a shocking news to her. In the past 300 years, our Yannan region has never produced a genius who can comprehend the sword power. Junior brother has such a strong talent. Xuelingyun looked at Lin Chen with admiration and said, "Come and try to attack, and see how much of the sword power you have comprehended." "Okay." Lin Chen smiled and pulled out the fine steel sword with a clang. Xuelingyun's body shook, and the true energy in her body surged. In the blink of an eye, a silver-white body shield formed on the surface of her body. Then, she said with a slightly hopeful look, "Junior brother, you come to attack." Tiangang realm warriors have strong qi in their bodies, which can be released outside their bodies. Those with weak control over the qi can transform the qi into small things, while those with strong control can turn this qi into weapons and protective shields. Seeing that Xuelingyun was ready, Lin Chen nodded and shouted, "Be careful." At the same time, the stainless steel sword in his hand thrust forward quickly, leaving several afterimages in mid-air, and appeared in front of Xuelingyun in the blink of an eye. "What a fast sword!" A trace of surprise flashed across Xuelingyun's face. Boom! Lin Chen's stainless steel sword accurately struck the body shield, causing waves of invisible ripples. As the blow fell, Lin Chen's body suddenly took 10 steps back, and the sword energy he attacked Xuelingyun was also bounced away. Xuelingyun knew that Lin Chen's attack was just for testing, but she was still shocked by the speed of his attack. With a stern look on her face, she activated her inner energy to strengthen the protective shield on her body, preparing to receive Lin Chen's sword attack. Sword power. Lin Chen took a slight breath and kept his expression as calm as usual. Immediately, he moved his body and released a sword force in his body, attached to the stainless steel sword, and attacked Xuelingyun. As Lin Chen performed this move, in an instant, a faint pressure from the sword flowed in the air, covering Xuelingyun crazily. Covered by the power of the sword, Xuelingyun's face suddenly turned pale. The sword force was approaching, but before it could hit Xuelingyun, the protective shield on her body made a hissing sound, as if it was about to break. Xuelingyun's expression changed, and a great crisis arose spontaneously. She shouted in shock, "Sword, show mercy!" Hearing this voice, Lin Chen lowered his stainless steel sword in his hand. The stainless steel sword in his hand immediately struck the ground in front of Xuelingyun, exploding a huge crater. The crazy sword power spread out everywhere, and 2 of them even screamed. 2 sounds, heading straight towards Xuelingyun. Seeing the sword power coming straight towards her, Xuelingyun panicked and formed a sword with the true energy in her body, striking it down in front of her. Puff. A single blow from a Tiangang realm warrior can seriously injure a warrior at the 6th level of the body refining realm due to the pressure alone. As Xuelingyun's sword slashed down, Lin Chen suddenly exhaled a breath of air, only to feel that the flow of true energy in his body was stagnant. If this sword were to attack Lin Chen directly, the consequences would be unimaginable. Lin Chen moved his hands, trying to resist Xuelingyun's pressure. However, at this moment, he suddenly found that the storage ring in the ring trembled, and at the same time, an incomparable aura rose into the sky. Oops, sword soul impact. Lin Chen's expression changed. Unexpectedly, Xuelingyun's sword actually aroused the anger of the sword soul in the broken sword. He almost wanted to rush out of the broken sword and crush Xuelingyun's pressure. Lin Chen knew clearly how powerful this sword soul was, and Xuelingyun would definitely be injured if it attacked. With a thought in his mind, Lin Chen mobilized the soul power in his body to wrap the storage spirit ring in the Na ring in his hand, suppressing the impact of the sword soul. Only, the broken sword soul in the storage ring was suppressed and immediately roared angrily. Immediately, the dull sounds of Buddhist monks ringing bells resounded through Lin Chen's mind. At the same time, broken sword soul launched an attack on Lin Chen's soul power, showing an aura that would not give up until Xuelingyun was destroyed. Lin Chen suppressed it tightly. Dong 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 dong. The sword spirit continued to impact, and with each impact, his face became a little pale. A short moment later, Lin Chen's face was already extremely pale. But at the same time, with the beating and impact of the sword soul, Lin Chen's soul power became more and more pure, and the sword power in his body became more and more concentrated. Lin Chen's understanding of the sword power became deeper, and he originally released 2 rays in his body. Only the last sword strength has been fully restored, and it has increased a lot. Sensing the changes in his body, Lin Chen couldn't help but a look of surprise flashed in his eyes. With a thought in his mind, his soul power rushed out of his body and spread out. Everything within 100 meters around him immediately formed a detailed scene in his mind, which was extremely real. This is something Lin Chen couldn't do before. In the past, Lin Chen's soul power was extremely powerful, but it had not reached the level that it could spread out of the body. In addition, the sword power in his body actually increased a lot during the impact of the sword soul just now. Now he can continuously release 5 sword powers. At this moment, Xuelingyun's attack stopped. As Xuelingyun's pressure dissipated, the sword soul in the broken sword also fell silent. It's amazing. You actually mastered 30% of the sword power. Xuelingyun was still frightened. Originally, she thought that even if Lin Chen understood the sword power, he wouldn't be able to master much. Who expected that he had mastered 30% of the sword power? Senior sister accepted the offer. After hearing Xuelingyun's words, Lin Chen's heart moved. The sword power in his body had been tempered and impacted by the sword soul just now, and it could already release the 5 rays. Doesn't it mean that he actually mastered 50% of the sword power? He immediately smiled and bowed to Xuelingyun. Thank you, senior sister. If it weren't for senior sister's sword, I might not have been able to master 50% of the sword strength so quickly. Xuelingyun's sword strike just now aroused the anger of the broken sword soul. In order to suppress the impact of the sword soul, Lin Chen's soul power and sword strength were tempered and strengthened a lot. Among them, Lin Chen has mastered the sword power to the point where he can release 5 swords. 50%. Xuelingyun looked stunned and said in shock, just now, you had a deeper understanding of sword power and mastered 50% of sword power. Chapter 32 Broken Copper Reborn. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xuelingyun looked at Lin Chen in disbelief. Just one sparring session gave him a deeper understanding of sword power. This martial arts talent was simply terrifying. At this moment, Xuelingyun suddenly understood why Lin Chen didn't care much when everyone in the restaurant was chatting about the many geniuses in Yannan region a few days ago. Suddenly, she woke up and said with a serious look on her pretty face, Junior brother's talent is so incredible. If he gets the sect's key training, his future achievements will be limitless. The implication was that he wanted to tell the sect about Lin Chen. Lin Chen shook his head and said with a faint smile, thank you, senior sister, for your kindness, but I still have to walk my own path. I hope that senior sister can keep this secret for me. It is good to be trained by the sect, but once the news that Lin Chen has mastered the sword power spreads, it will inevitably cause a lot of unnecessary trouble. It is too hasty to expose the news that he has mastered the sword power now. What's more, breaking into the secret realm of Tianluo mountain is imminent. Even if Lin Chen doesn't reveal the news that he has mastered the sword power, he is sure to pass through the secret realm of Tianluo Mountain and become an inner disciple of Tianji Sect. Lingyun was stunned when she heard Lin Chen's words, saying that she still had to walk her own path. Without a strong will and a firm mind, how could it be possible to say such words? After thinking about it, Lingyun wanted to persuade him a little more, but seeing Lin Chen's determined face, she couldn't help but nodded in agreement. A genius like Lin Chen can still become a core disciple of Tianji Sect even without his own recommendation. At that moment, the two started chatting. Lingyun came to ask Lin Chen about the 7-star chain sword. After Lin Chen explained the key points about the 7-star chain sword, he practiced it on the spot. After observing it once, Lingyun realized something and couldn't help but start practicing on the spot. When she reached the 7th position, a sword energy of nearly 2 meters shot out from her sword and shot straight into the sky. The 7th form is completed. Seeing this, a joyful look flashed across her face. The 7-star chain sword is quite difficult to practice, but once it is successfully practiced, it is extremely powerful. Lingyun is also a Tiangang realm warrior. The 7-star chain sword she used is much more powerful than the 7-star chain sword used by Lin Chen. Thank you, junior brother. Lingyun said with a smile on her face. Lin Chen shook his head and suddenly remembered the 3rd level of the ancient bronze body refining technique, broken copper and rebirth. Once his bronze body refining technique advances to the 3rd level, he will be much more confident in breaking through the secret realm of Tianluo Mountain. However, it is not so easy to advance to the 3rd level of the bronze body refining technique. Even if Lin Chen has the assistance of the body refining pill, he is not sure that he will be able to break through. But what if we add another Tiangang realm warrior? Immediately, Lin Chen told Lingyun about the bronze body refining technique. If Lingyun is willing to assist Lin Chen in refining the bodybuilding elixir and tempering the copper energy in his body, then his chances of success will be much greater. After listening to Lin Chen's words, Lingyun pondered for a moment, nodded and said, "Okay, let me attack." You pay attention to the mental diagram. If you can't hold on, remind me. After all, Lingyun is a Tiangang realm warrior, and her cultivation level is much higher than that of Lin Chen. If she attacks with all her strength, Lin Chen may not even have room to resist, and will be seriously injured directly. After listening to Lingyun's words, Lin Chen nodded slightly. Immediately, he took a deep breath, his body shook, and a faint bronze light flashed on his skin. After doing this, he turned his hand, took out the bodybuilding pill, opened his mouth and swallowed it. As the elixir entered his mouth, Lin Chen suddenly felt a faint fragrance filling his mouth. At the same time, his chest suddenly felt hot, as if it was heating up like a furnace. Lin Chen nodded to Lingyun, indicating that she could attack. Okay. Seeing that Lin Chen was ready, Lingyun immediately stretched out a palm and slapped Lin Chen on the chest. Her palm looked ordinary, but when it touched Lin Chen's chest, Lin Chen immediately felt a huge force hitting his chest. But the next moment, Lin Chen's body shook slightly, and the huge force from Lingyun's palm was dispersed to all parts of his body in an instant. But even so, the dispersed huge force still impacted Lin Chen's body. Crack, crackle. Lin Chen's body bones rang like fried beans, and he felt the hot air in his chest suddenly suffocated, and the temperature dropped significantly. The fiery air current on his chest was the effect of the bodybuilding pill. The temperature dropped at this moment, which meant that the effect of the medicine was refined. However, there is still a long way to go before it is completely refined. Lin Chen nodded slightly towards Lingyun again, signaling the latter to continue the attack. Seeing this situation, Lingyun's eyes suddenly flashed with surprise. The palm she just used to use the semi-infuriated energy in her body was not only easily blocked by Lin Chen, but also seemed to be not strong enough. Be careful, this time I will use Yicheng Jinshi. Lingyun felt that Lin Chen had enough energy left and said immediately. As soon as she finished speaking, she struck out with a palm. This time, the palm she struck created a gust of wind, which was much more powerful than the one she struck just now. Boom. The palm of his hand slapped Lin Chen's chest again. A strong force came from the palm of his hand. Under the impact of this strong force, Lin Chen let out a big breath, but he reacted quickly. His body shook, and he dispersed the huge force to all parts of his body again in the same way. with the strike of this palm, Lin Chen felt that the temperature of the fire in his chest dropped a lot. Then, his body crackled again, and he could clearly feel the improvement in his physical fitness. My physical fitness has obviously improved a lot. Lin Chen punched forward, and the wind from his fist was roaring. He vaguely felt the bottleneck of the third level of broken copper rebirth, but to break through, Xuelingyun's attack alone was obviously not enough. Please increase the strength, senior sister. Lin Chen stood in place and said with a stern look. Xuelingyun's face changed when she heard this. She actually blocked the palm of her 1/10 true qi. If it were another 6th level warrior in the body refining realm, he would probably be seriously injured and unable to get up under her palm. Xuelingyun hesitated for a moment, and said solemnly, this time, 3/10 of true qi, junior brother, be careful. He slapped again, the palm wind was roaring, the true qi was agitated, and a trace of pressure was crushed towards Lin Chen with this palm. Seeing this, Lin Chen was not afraid, but his eyes lit up, and a trace of excitement flashed across his face. Bang! Xuelingyun's palm was pressed on Lin Chen's chest. Lin Chen felt as if a majestic mountain was pressing on his chest. He couldn't breathe in an instant, and his face turned purple. Lin Chen. Seeing Lin Chen's face flushed, Xuelingyun's face changed immediately, and she couldn't help but regret hitting Lin Chen with this palm. A palm with 30% of the true qi of a Tiangang realm warrior would hurt even a warrior in the 9th level of the body refining realm. And Lin Chen is only in the early 6th level of the body refining realm. When Lin Chen was hit by this palm, his face changed, and the hot air flow in his chest disappeared quickly in an instant. The effect of the bodybuilding pill was quickly refined by Lin Chen. At the same time, his physical fitness was also improving at a very fast speed. Ding ding ding, Xuelingyun looked anxious and was about to use the true qi to clear Lin Chen's meridians. However, at this time, a sound like a hammer hitting metal came from Lin Chen. Huh! Xuelingyun was stunned, looking at Lin Chen without blinking. At this moment, Lin Chen's eyes were slightly closed, and his body was glowing with a faint bronze light. As the voice sounded, the bronze light on his skin slowly faded away. The third level of the bronze body refining technique, broken copper rebirth, is to shatter the copper energy in the body and condense a harder copper energy. It's like a nylon rope, the more it is twisted, the tighter it will be. When it is twisted to a certain degree, the nylon rope will break with a bang. At this moment, Lin Chen is using the medicinal effect of the bodybuilding pill and the huge force of Xuelingyun's palm to temper and beat the copper energy in his body. The sound of ding 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 continued to come from Lin Chen's body. About half a minute later, the bronze light on Lin Chen's body completely disappeared. The next moment, he suddenly opened his eyes and let out a long howl. With this long howl, a brilliant bronze light suddenly emanated from his chest. This light, starting from the chest, radiated to the surroundings little by little until it completely covered his body. Third level. Lin Chen looked down at his fist that glowed with a deep bronze glow, and a look of joy flashed across his face. Congratulations, junior brother, on advancing to the third level. Xuelingyun looked at Lin Chen with a smile on her face, and she admired him in her heart. She originally thought that Lin Chen could not catch her last palm, but unexpectedly, Lin Chen not only caught it, but also used her palm power to refine the medicinal effects of the bodybuilding pill, temper the copper strength, and successfully advance to the third level of broken copper rebirth. Lin Chen turned around and bowed, saying, "Thank you, senior sister, for your help." Xuelingyun shook her head and said, "You don't have to thank me. You can use my palm power to refine the bodybuilding pill and temper the copper strength. It's your ability." As she spoke, a touch of admiration flashed across Xuelingyun's eyes. You should know that it is extremely dangerous to practice martial arts with the help of the enemy's attack during a fight. If you are not careful, you will die without a burial place. Xuelingyun and Lin Chen waved their hands and said with a smile, "Come, let's try your strength to advance to the third level." "Okay." Lin Chen laughed loudly. He had just made a breakthrough in his skills and was about to try the power of the third level of broken copper rebirth. After saying that, Lin Chen moved his body, and the ancient bronze body refining technique mental method diagram in his body was running, and he punched Xuelingyun. Seeing this, Xuelingyun stretched out a palm and printed it on Lin Chen's fist. Snap. The fist and palm intersected in midair. The next moment, Xuelingyun frowned slightly and suddenly increased the output of her true energy. As she increased the output of her true energy, Lin Chen immediately felt a strong force coming from his fist, and his body couldn't help but step back a few steps. Taking a deep breath, the bronze color on Lin Chen's skin slowly faded. I was forced to use 35% of my true energy. Junior brother's punch was at least 10,000 pounds of strength. Xuelingyun said with a slightly surprised look. The ancient bronze body refining art advanced to the third level of broken copper rebirth. Lin Chen's punch was no problem. More importantly, ordinary attacks could not break Lin Chen's defense at all, and his life was greatly protected. In the next few days, Lin Chen stayed in the bamboo forest and practiced with Xuelingyun. After a few days, his ancient bronze body refining art's third level of broken copper rebirth was consolidated, and any punch he made had a force of 10,000 pounds. Chapter 33, Discussion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Noon, after Lin Chen said goodbye to Xuelingyun, he went straight to the mission hall. Now that there are less than 10 days before entering the secret realm of Tianluo Mountain, Lin Chen must hand over the sect tasks he has accepted and obtain contribution points. Otherwise, if he misses this Tianluo Mountain secret realm, he will have to work as a deacon outside according to the family's arrangements. Half an hour later, Lin Chen walked out of the mission hall, exhaled softly, and a touch of joy flashed across his face. 638 contribution points. The 500 contribution points needed to break into the secret realm of Tianluo Mountain have finally been collected. That's enough. He had worked hard for several months to raise the 500 contribution points. When he saw that the contribution points on the nameplate were 138 more than the 500 contribution points needed to enter the secret realm of Tianluo Mountain, Lin Chen couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. With a smile on his face, however, these 500 contribution points can only be exchanged for one opportunity to break into the Tianluo Mountain secret realm. As for whether they can successfully break through the Tianluo Mountain secret realm and successfully enter the inner gate, that is another question. After all, there are a large number of outer disciples. Although there are prerequisites for breaking into the secret realm of Tianluo Mountain, there are also many disciples who can raise 500 contribution points. Among them, there may not be hidden strength. If you want to break into Tianluo Mountain, the disciple who made a sensation in the secret realm, what's more, none of the top 10 disciples of the outer sect are easy to mess with. Without thinking much, Lin Chen left the mission hall and went straight to the library. Lin Chen has not returned the Qingyun Step secret book and the Phantom Sword secret book yet. Lin Chen couldn't help but shudder when he thought of the sect's punishment for disciples who failed to return the secret books on time. Arriving at the library pavilion, Lin Chen walked straight in. The library pavilion is divided into 5 floors. Outer disciples can only enter the first floor to select exercises, which are all from low-level yellow level to mid-level yellow level. As for the second floor, outer disciples can enter only if they have enough contribution points. There are martial arts from high-level Huang level to low-level Xian level. Further up, only inner disciples can enter, but even so, redeeming a secret book also requires huge contribution points. Lin Chen's eyes were slightly fiery. After practicing the bronze body refining technique, he became more and more eager for high-level martial arts. Although high-level martial arts are difficult to practice, they are also extremely powerful. High-level martial arts can even allow warriors to ignore the gap in each other's cultivation levels and kill people beyond their level. However, if you want to practice the high-level martial arts here, in addition to expensive contribution points, you also need a prerequisite. Only disciples above the inner sect of Tianji Sect can use contribution points to exchange. In other words, even if you have enough contribution points, if you are an outer disciple, you still cannot practice this martial skill. Lin Chen shook his head slightly. Many things could only be carried out by entering the inner door. At this moment, there were many disciples on the first floor of the library pavilion choosing martial arts. Lin Chen stepped in, and when he saw the old man in white robe guarding the library pavilion, he turned his head and looked over. Seeing the visitor, the white-robed old man showed a smile on his face and said, "The phantom sword has been passed down to this day, and there are very few disciples who can successfully practice it, and those who succeed in it are all geniuses among geniuses. Lin Chen, it's not too late for you to learn other martial arts, go ahead and choose another swordsmanship. Hearing this, Lin Chen couldn't help but smile. Obviously, the old man in white robe still didn't believe that he could successfully cultivate the fantasy sword. Lin Chen shook his head and said, "Thank you for your kindness, elder. It is indeed difficult to practice the phantom sword, but its power is not bad." The disciple does not plan to change to other martial arts. The old man in white robe was stunned for a moment, with a trace of regret on his face. He obviously thought that Lin Chen was too stubborn and felt unworthy. He was about to speak, but at this moment, a curious voice suddenly sounded in the building. "Hey, senior brother Huan, who do you think will take the first place in the secret realm of Tianluo Mountain this time?" A disciple in the middle stage of the 5th level of the body refining realm said to a warrior in the early stage of the 7th level of the body refining realm. The 7th level warrior glanced around and whispered, "Keep your voice down, this is the library." He paused and continued, "If nothing else happens, it must be our outer sect's largest disciple, senior brother Yuan Fei. I heard that senior brother Yuan is currently in retreat. I don't know whether he is making breakthroughs in cultivation or practicing martial arts." Senior brother Yuan. The disciple who asked the question was stunned, thought for a moment, and said thoughtfully, "Senior brother Huang is saying that senior brother Yuan is now at the 8th level of the body refining realm. If he breaks through to the body refining realm, at the 9th level of physical realm, I'm afraid neither of the two senior brothers Pei can be his opponent. Yuan Fei, the first disciple of the outer sect, has a peak cultivation level at the 8th level of the body refining realm. He has killed several bandits at the 9th level of the body refining realm and is extremely powerful. As for senior brother Pei, it is Pei Liangping who ranks second in the outer sect. His cultivation is also at the peak of the 8th level of the body refining realm, but in terms of strength, he is not as good as Yuan Fei." Lin Chen pondered for a moment, then reached out and took out the Qingyun Step secret book and the Phantom Sword secret book from his arms, and placed them beside the counter. Seeing this, the old man in white robe couldn't help but shook his head and said, "Lin Chen, there are still a few days before we can break into the secret realm of Tianluo Mountain. Are you sure? I think the Phantom Sword should be enough to handle it." Lin Chen's physical fitness has improved, and the power of the Phantom Sword has also been greatly enhanced. Not wanting to say more, Lin Chen bowed slightly to the old man in white robe, turned around and walked outside. After leaving the library, Lin Chen returned to the hut to have lunch, and then came to the martial arts hall with his sword in hand. In the outer sect of Tianji Sect, there will be an elder Chuan Gong teaching martial arts every day. The time is determined by the elder Chuan Gong. This afternoon it happened to be an elder Chuan Gong teaching martial arts. There are still a few days left before breaking into the secret realm of Tianluo Mountain. Lin Chen plans to take this opportunity to listen to the lectures of the elder Chuan Gong and refine his sword skills. In the martial arts hall, at this time, it was still half an hour before elder Chuan Gong's lecture started, but a large number of disciples had already gathered here, and the entire martial arts hall was filled with people. Lin Chen found a place, sat down cross-legged, closed his eyes slightly, and waited quietly. Half an hour later, an old man wearing a white Taoist robe walked out of the martial arts hall. This old man was sitting in the center of the martial arts hall, exuding a faint pressure. He was obviously a Tiangang realm warrior. As soon as he sat down cross-legged, he raised a long sword and said, "Today I will explain the sword technique. Swordsmanship is all about speed, ruthlessness, and accuracy. Many outer disciples know this but don't know why. Fast means fast, whether it's sword shooting or fencing." The disciples around listened carefully. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, 2 hours passed. Today's lecture ends here. Just as many disciples were listening in fascination, the old man stood up suddenly, turned around and walked straight into the main hall. In the martial arts hall, many disciples looked like they were still unfinished. Many of them even pulled out their long swords and found a remote place to practice on the spot. Lin Chen woke up from the lecture state, with a thoughtful look on his face. No matter what kind of martial arts you practice, you can't be too rigid. Swordsmanship is the same, and you can also be innovative when practicing swordsmanship. Combining swordsmanship with footwork can produce much greater power. The disciples in the martial arts hall all stood up and rushed straight to their small courtyard with their swords in hand. There was a surge of people. Lin Chen followed the crowd and walked outside. However, just as Lin Chen walked out of the martial arts hall, he suddenly heard a voice. Lin Chen. A voice came from behind him. Hearing this voice, Lin Chen stopped. He turned around and saw Ma Liang and Li Chuan looking at him with cold expressions. The voice just now was from Li Chuan. Dispatched, seeing these two people, Lin Chen was slightly startled. There were too many disciples in the martial arts hall just now, and he didn't notice Ma Liang and Li Chuan. Many disciples around saw that the atmosphere was not right, so they all stepped away and looked around curiously. Li Chuan originally came here to attend classes with Ma Liang, but he didn't expect to see Lin Chen accidentally. As soon as Ma Liang saw Lin Chen, his expression suddenly changed. He wanted to teach Lin Chen a lesson immediately to regain the face he had lost in the Maoyan Mountains, not to mention Li Chuan. He hated Lin Chen so much that he wanted to destroy Lin Chen immediately. Unable to hold it any longer, the two immediately stopped Lin Chen and wanted to take this opportunity to teach him a lesson in advance. Oh. It turns out to be Brother Li and Brother Ma. What do you think of them? Lin Chen said lightly when he saw these two people. A subtle smile flashed across his face. Ma Liang sneered and said in a deep voice, I don't dare to take my opinion seriously. I just want to discuss with Junior Brother Lin. I wonder what Junior Brother Lin wants. Just a discussion. The smile on Lin Chen's face became even stronger, giving people a ghostly feeling. Yes. Lin Chen, you escaped from Brother Ma last time, let me see how you can escape this time. Li Chuan couldn't hold himself back and said ferociously. However, as soon as his words came out of his mouth, there was an uproar all around. The disciples all around looked at Li Chuan, then at Ma Liang and Lin Chen, with expressions of surprise and astonishment. Who is Ma Liang? He is one of the top 10 disciples of the outer sect and is extremely powerful. For ordinary disciples, let alone leaving Ma Liang unharmed, it would be great to have a fight with him. However, Lin Chen, a disciple at the early stage of the 6th level of the body refining realm, actually left during the fight with Ma Liang and did not seem to suffer much loss. Some time ago in the Maoyan Mountains, if Lin Chen hadn't swallowed the inner elixir, how could he have hurt Brother Ma with his strength? Not to mention forcing Brother Ma back with a sword and escaping from Brother Ma. Seeing Ma Liang's embarrassment, Li Chuan opened his mouth to explain again. However, halfway through his words, he suddenly realized that the more he wiped out the words, the darker the situation became. Instead, he told the whole story, quiet. Extremely quiet, the disciples around him all widened their eyes and looked at Lin Chen in disbelief. Initially, everyone thought that Lin Chen just escaped from Ma Liang, but when they heard Li Chuan's words, they suddenly realized that the matter was not simple. Lin Chen not only escaped from Ma Liang, but also forced Ma Liang back with a sword. On the side, Ma Liang stared at Li Chuan with burning eyes, wanting to slap Li Chuan to death. Li Chuan, who realized that the more he spoke, became more and more uncomfortable, also closed his mouth, looking uneasy, and stood there without daring to move. Ma Liang turned his head, looked at Lin Chen coldly, and said, yes, it's just a competition. If you win, I will give you a bottle of middle-grade qi gathering pill, that when things have reached this point, if Lin Chen is not taught a lesson, Ma Liang's face will be wiped out and it will be difficult to raise his head among the outer gates. But he was afraid that Lin Chen would be afraid and not fight, so he added a bottle of middle-grade qi gathering pill as a bargaining chip to induce Lin Chen to agree to the discussion. Seeing this situation, Lin Chen smiled faintly, shook his head and said, how can we be allowed to fight and kill in this pure land of the sect? Besides, if someone is injured in a fight and the elders blame it, who will bear the responsibility? After these months of hard training, Lin Chen is no longer afraid of Ma Liang, but now that the secret realm of Tianluo Mountain is about to open, Lin Chen can teach these two people a lesson in the secret realm of Tianluo Mountain, so why bother at this juncture? Chapter 34, What a Genius! You are listening at novelfull.audio. As soon as Lin Chen finished speaking, Li Chuan showed an anxious look, as if he wanted to redeem himself. He said, "Don't worry about this. We are fighting according to the rules of the sect. The elders will not ask." After thinking for a while, Li Chuan continued, "If you are injured, I will give you a bottle of healing medicine." Hearing this, Ma Liang couldn't help but glance at Li Chuan, and his face eased a lot. In this case, why should Lin be afraid of fighting? Lin Chen laughed and said slowly, "If you want to fight, then fight." Seeing this, Ma Liang's face suddenly showed joy. "I'm afraid you won't fight." Li Chuan also secretly showed surprise. During this period, he has been following Ma Liang and is very clear about Ma Liang's strength. Compared with the last time in the Malian Mountains, Ma Liang's strength has increased again. The fourth style of the Daishan sword technique he practiced has been perfected, and he has even touched the threshold of the fifth style. "Okay, let's fight here." Ma Liang was afraid that Lin Chen would regret it, so he drew his sword and said hurriedly, standing aside. The disciples around him retreated one by one, leaving a large enough space for Lin Chen and Ma Liang. A stack of mountains. As soon as he finished speaking, Ma Liang immediately used his famous stacking swordsmanship. As this move was performed, it seemed as if a majestic mountain appeared out of thin air and crushed down towards Lin Chen. Although Ma Liang's attack was directed at Lin Chen, many disciples with lower cultivation levels around him were oppressed by his momentum and their faces turned pale. What a strong momentum! It seems that senior brother Ma has made another breakthrough in swordsmanship. Senior brother Ma is so strong, but Lin Chen can still escape from his hands. He is really a strange man. Many disciples whispered. On the side, facing Ma Liang's attack, Lin Chen was not in a hurry. Just when Ma Liang's attack was about to fall on Lin Chen, he saw that Lin Chen suddenly had a series of bronze lights on his body, giving people a sacred feeling. Bang! The next moment, Ma Liang's sword fell on Lin Chen, making a dull sound. Lin Chen's face remained unchanged, and he stood there without moving. Wow! The disciples around him were in an uproar, looking at Lin Chen in disbelief. How is this possible? He actually blocked my attack with his body. Ma Liang's pupils shrank sharply, and his expression was a little crazy. He was arrogant, and his one-handed stacking sword technique was famous in the outer sect. However, his confident attack did not even break Lin Chen's defense. The confidence in his heart fell into underestimated instantly, and the huge gap made him crazy. On the other side, Li Chuan stepped back several steps, and a look of fear flashed across his face. That day in the Malian Mountains, he saw Lin Chen and Ma Liang fighting with his own eyes. Although Lin Chen dodged Ma Liang's attack at that time, he was also in a very embarrassed state, and it was not like now, with an easy look to easily resist Ma Liang's attack. Threefold Mountain. Fivefold Mountain. Ma Liang's eyes were red, and he wished he could split Lin Chen in half with his sword. In a frenzy, he used two moves in succession and attacked Lin Chen. Bang bang, two consecutive attacks on Lin Chen. The powerful attack on the long sword made Lin Chen's body retreat 2 steps slightly, but even so, Lin Chen's face remained unchanged. The ancient bronze body refining art advanced to the 3rd level of broken copper rebirth. Lin Chen not only had great strength, but also greatly increased his defense. With Ma Liang's attack, there was no way to break Lin Chen's defense. Seeing that he was motionless under Ma Liang's attack, Lin Chen couldn't help but nodded slightly with satisfaction. Then, he took 2 steps forward and smiled lightly. You attacked 3 times, now, it's my turn. After saying that, he stepped on the Qingyun step, his body flashed forward quickly, and in a moment, he appeared in front of Ma Liang. Tianji Sect, on a gloomy path. On both sides of the road stood large trees with lush branches and leaves. Under the bright sunshine, they cast colorful light, which seemed extremely comfortable. This path connected the inner sect Xuanyu Peak of Tianji Sect and the road to the martial arts hall. However, under normal circumstances, few people came to this road, because the Xuanyu Peak connected by this path was the residence of the female disciples of the inner sect. The inner sect disciples were busy practicing, and they would not go to the outer sect martial arts hall unless the elders ordered them to do something. However, at this moment, 2 very pretty figures were walking on this path. One of them was Xuelingyun, and the girl next to her was a girl who looked about 16 years old, with bright eyes and wearing a white robe. She was Xuelingyun's good friend Ao Xian. As one of the genius disciples of the inner sect, Xuelingyun's friends would naturally not be too bad. This Ao Xian was also one of the genius disciples of the inner sect. His cultivation was already in the early stage of Tiangang realm, and his strength was very strong. Ao Xian suddenly stopped and said angrily, "Lingyun, what are you doing? You won't let me practice. Where are you taking me?" Xuelingyun smiled and said, "To the outer sect." Ao Xian was stunned and asked in surprise, "Why are we going to the outer sect?" Xuelingyun took Ao Xian's hand and continued to move forward, saying, "Go to the outer sect and meet an outer sect disciple." "What?" Hearing this, Ao Xian immediately stopped and looked at Xuelingyun in surprise. "Lingyun, are you okay? I'm still practicing. You pulled me out just to meet an outer sect disciple. If it was an ordinary disciple, it would definitely not be worth your trip." Xuelingyun was not annoyed and said with a smile, "But the person I brought you to see is not an ordinary outer disciple. Even I would be amazed when I saw him." "Really or not?" Ao Xian said with a suspicious look. Ao Xian knew very well that as a genius disciple of the inner sect, Xuelingyun didn't care much about the ordinary inner sect disciples. Even among the many genius disciples of the inner sect, few could fall into Xuelingyun's eyes. However, at this moment, Xuelingyun told her that there was a disciple in the outer sect who amazed her. "Not only that, compared with this junior brother, at most we only have more training time and higher cultivation level than him." Xuelingyun nodded and said, after listening to Xuelingyun's words, Ao Xian suddenly smiled and said, "Lingyun, if the outer sect really has such a disciple, how can the sect not know about it?" "I think you are probably wrong." A picture was displayed on his face. Look of disbelief. Xuelingyun didn't say much. She took Ao Xian's hand again and said as she walked, "We're here. You'll know when you see her in person." Ao Xian was helpless, but because of Xuelingyun's face, it really couldn't be justified not to go. The two chatted while walking towards the outer door. Half an hour later, the two finally arrived outside the martial arts hall at the outer gate. However, as soon as they walked out of the trail, Xuelingyun and Ao Xian were stunned. "Well, why are there so many people around?" Ao Xian frowned and stood under a big tree and looked carefully. At this moment, there are hundreds of people gathered at the entrance of the martial arts hall, and as time goes by, more and more disciples gather around, and everyone seems to be quite interested in what is happening inside. Xuelingyun didn't know why. When she said goodbye to Lin Chen this morning, she heard Lin Chen say that he would come to the martial arts hall to attend a lecture in the afternoon, so she brought Ao Xian to the martial arts hall. The two of them used their footwork and jumped onto a huge blue stone, looking towards the center of the crowd. Bang bang. Just at this moment, two dull voices came from the center of the crowd. In the center of the crowd, Lin Chen's whole body exuded a faint bronze light, and he easily withstood Mal Yang's two consecutive attacks without moving his expression. The disciples around him suddenly burst into an uproar, looking at Lin Chen in the center of the crowd with admiration. Seeing this situation, Ao Xian let out a light sigh and said, "You have practiced the body refining technique well. The strength of the attacking disciple should be comparable to the early stage of the 8th level of the body refining realm, but his two consecutive attacks were unexpectedly defeated by this person. Resist it." Ao Xian was in the early stage of Tiangang realm. She was powerful and knowledgeable. She could see the techniques performed by Lin Chen in the blink of an eye. She quickly woke up, turned to Xuelingyun and said, "Lingyun, could it be that the outer disciple you mentioned is him?" That when Xuelingyun saw Lin Chen in the crowd, she was stunned for a moment, and then a faint smile appeared on her face. Hearing Ao Xian's words, Xuelingyun immediately nodded slightly and said with a smile, "Just keep reading." During this period of time, Xuelingyun has been competing with Lin Chen and is well aware of Lin Chen's strength. You must know that Lin Chen has not only mastered the power of the sword, but also practiced low-level physical training techniques at the Xian level. He possesses a huge power and strong defense. Normal attacks cannot break through his defense. At this moment, against Mal Yang, who was at the 7th level of the peak of the body refining realm. Lin Chen could defeat him solely by relying on the bronze body refining technique, without the need to use sword power at all. While the two were talking, Lin Chen in the crowd burst out laughing, stepped forward, and punched Ma Liang. Seeing Lin Chen coming towards him with his fists raised, a look of madness flashed across Ma Liang's face. His hair was disheveled, and his body's true energy was surging. He was obviously planning to use all his strength to perform his trick. Qi Fai Shan. Lin Chen, you forced me. I originally planned to use this move in the secret realm of Tianluo Mountain, but now that you are seeking your own death, you have no one to blame. Although Ma Liang shocked Lin Chen's defense, he also had a trump card that he didn't use. He had just recently perfected the 4th form of the Dai Shan sword technique, which was extremely powerful. He believed that Lin Chen would definitely be no match for this blow and would be seriously injured on the spot. As for what happened afterwards, the crazy Ma Liang no longer cared about that much. Lin Chen looked at Ma Liang, who looked crazy, with a trace of undetectable sarcasm at the corner of his mouth. Next moment, ding dong, just like the collision of metal and metal. The moment Lin Chen's fist intersected with the long sword, there was a ding-dong sound. As the sound of metal intersecting sounded, Ma Liang, who was holding the sword tightly and maintaining an offensive posture, suddenly flew back. A large mouthful of blood spurted out from his mouth, and he fell to the ground with a look of shock and anger. Silence. The entrance to the martial arts hall fell into an eerie silence again, and the disciples around him looked at Lin Chen in the center of the crowd in fear. What a genius! Xian looked shocked and said, this junior brother is only at the early stage of the 6th level of the body training realm, but he has mastered the body training technique to such an extent. It's amazing, I admire him. Seeing Xian's surprised look, Xuelingyun couldn't help but chuckle in her heart. If she were to know that Lin Chen had mastered 50% of the sword's power, she didn't know how surprised she would be. Xuelingyun nodded slightly and smiled. As far as I know, he is good at swordsmanship, and he has only practiced body training for less than a month. What? Xian's eyes widened and she looked at Xuelingyun and said, in 1 month, he has practiced the body refining technique to the point where he can seriously injure the 7th level of the body refining realm with 1 punch. If this is the case, then what is his swordsmanship? How awesome! Lingyun, what's his name? Chapter 35, Murder. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Chen. Xuelingyun smiled and said. Okay. I remember his name. I will recommend him to my master when I go back. It would be a pity if such a genius with extraordinary talent was lost outside. Xian said excitedly. Hearing this, Xuelingyun remembered what Lin Chen said when he refused her recommendation to the sect. She immediately shook her head and said anxiously, don't. He needs to walk his own path. We don't need to interfere. This. Xian frowned and said, then why did you ask me to come here? Xuelingyun chuckled and said, bring you here to make friends with him, don't make enemies with him. After a slight hesitation, she continued in a deep voice, so as not to suffer in the future. Hearing this, Xian was immediately stunned, looking at Xuelingyun, and whispered, you mean, his talent. Xuelingyun nodded slightly, turned around, and her eyes fell on Lin Chen in the middle of the crowd. The bronze light on Lin Chen's body slowly dissipated, and he looked expressionlessly at Ma Liang, who was knocked out on the opposite side. At this moment, Ma Liang was half lying on the ground, with disheveled hair, red eyes, and extremely embarrassed. He widened his eyes, raised a hand and pointed at Lin Chen, wanting to say something cruel, but he couldn't say it, and his face turned red. Ma Liang never thought that Lin Chen, who was beaten by him half a month ago and escaped from his hands by taking the inner pill of the monster beast, would actually knock him out with 1 punch at this moment. In terms of strength, he was already much higher than him. Lin Chen glanced at Ma Liang, ignored the anger in Ma Liang's eyes, turned around, and looked at Li Chuan on the side. Compared with Ma Liang, Li Chuan's performance was more shameful. When he saw Lin Chen turning around and looking at him, Li Chuan's face immediately showed panic, and he hurriedly howled in panic, Lin Chen, don't come over. He looked like he wanted to turn around and run away immediately. Lin Chen said calmly, what if I come over? As he said that, Lin Chen took a step forward. Li Chuan was stunned. If Lin Chen really wanted to come over, with his strength, he had no way to stop him. Suddenly, Li Chuan seemed to remember something. He reached into his arms and took out a crystal stone. He squeezed it hard, and the crystal stone was immediately crushed into pieces. Communication stone. This Li Chuan is really shameless. They proposed the competition. Now that they can't win, they actually want to find helpers to deal with Lin Chen. The disciples around saw Li Chuan crushing the communication stone and immediately cried out. Ma Liang, who was standing aside, looked even more embarrassed when he heard this. It was already very embarrassing to lose to Lin Chen. At this moment, Li Chuan did this, which completely ruined his face. Ma Liang's face was gloomy, gritting his teeth, wishing that his injuries would heal immediately, and he would stand up and kick Li Chuan, the idiot, away. Li Chuan also realized that something was wrong. He crushed the communication stone because he was completely scared by Lin Chen's beating. In addition, when he saw that even Ma Liang was not Lin Chen's opponent, he crushed the communication stone in panic to inform his brother Li Shan. Although he realized that something was wrong, the communication stone had been crushed after all, and even if he lost face, it was much better for Li Chuan than being beaten up by Lin Chen. Gritting his teeth, Li Chuan said fiercely, Lin Chen, don't be arrogant. I tell you, my brother is a Tiangang realm warrior, he will be here soon. If you dare to harm me, I promise you will regret it for the rest of your life. Really? Lin Chen had no expression on his face, and walked slowly towards Li Chuan step by step. At the same time, his momentum became stronger and stronger, and waves of pressure enveloped Li Chuan crazily. Li Chuan's current cultivation level is only the middle stage of the 5th level of the body refining realm, and his strength is very average. When Lin Chen took a step forward, he felt the pressure on him became heavier. Under the pressure, Li Chuan's body was covered with cold sweat, his face was pale and terrified. When Lin Chen walked to a place less than 10 meters away from Li Chuan could no longer bear it and roared, Lin Chen, you stop right there. Don't come over. Ah! When Li Chuan's last word fell, the air suddenly filled with the smell of urine. Everyone was stunned. Immediately, a burst of laughter rang out. The disciples around saw Li Chuan's embarrassed look, and they couldn't help but laugh one by one. Waste. Lin Chen's brows were also slightly frowned. Originally, he just wanted to scare Li Chuan, but he didn't expect that Li Chuan was so easily scared. He just exuded his aura and scared Li Chuan to urinate incontinence. Without even looking at Li Chuan, Lin Chen just turned around, but at this moment, a loud voice suddenly rang out, stop. As the voice fell, several young men walked in from outside the crowd, and each of them had a cultivation level of more than the 7th level of the body refining realm. Walking in front of the disciples was a young man in his 20s, exuding a faint pressure. All the disciples who approached him felt that their internal chi was not flowing properly, and they retreated with uncomfortable faces. The young man looked at Ma Liang, who was seriously injured on the ground, and then looked at Li Chuan, who was frightened and incontinent, and his face suddenly became gloomy and scary. Ma Liang raised his head and glanced at the young man, with a trace of shame on his face. On the other side, Li Chuan saw the person coming, but his face was happy, and he said in surprise, brother, you are finally here. He is Lin Chen, brother, you should teach him a lesson quickly. Asshole. Seeing Li Chuan like this and hearing his words, Li Shan was immediately furious. If Li Chuan and Ma Liang didn't listen to him and didn't cause trouble for Lin Chen at this time, why would he come here in person? Now Li Chuan actually ordered him, which made Li Shan furious. Without saying a word, he slapped Li Chuan directly on the face. A red slap mark suddenly appeared on Li Chuan's face, his eye circles were red, and his face was full of unwillingness. Ignoring Li Chuan anymore, Li Shan turned his head, looked at Lin Chen, and said in a low voice, boy, you are so brave. It was agreed that the competition would be in accordance with the sect's regulations, but you did it so harshly, with sinister intentions. That's wrong. If you punish me once or twice, I'm afraid you will become lawless in the future. Li Shan basically understood what happened on the way here. Ma Liang and Li Chuan were the instigators. During the sparring session, Ma Liang attacked 3 times in a row, but was blocked by Lin Chen. However, Lin Chen severely injured Ma Liang with one punch. Li Shan was surprised at Lin Chen's talent, but he also became more determined to eradicate Lin Chen. If such a talented disciple grows up in the future, not only Ma Liang will be seriously injured by him, but even Li Shan will be defeated by him. Yes. He must be punished, otherwise he won't be arrogant in the future. As soon as Li Shan finished speaking, several of the disciples he brought started shouting and yelling, very cooperative with Li Shan. When Xue Lingyun and Ao Xian outside the crowd saw this, their expressions turned cold. They couldn't stand what Li Shan had done. The two of them didn't waste any time, jumped down from the bluestone, and walked straight towards the crowd. With the appearance of Xue Lingyun and Ao Xian, there was a commotion all around. Many disciples turned their heads and looked at the two girls in surprise. Xue Lingyun and Ao Xian were not only genius disciples of the inner sect, but also two beauties. It was rare to see them usually, but at this moment, these two women appeared here at the same time. Lin Chen, let me introduce you to a genius. This is senior sister Ao Xnao. Xue Lingyun and Ao Xian walked to Lin Chen, and Xue Lingyun said with a smile to Lin Chen. This. Li Shan, Ma Liang and Li Chuan were stunned for a moment. They could deal with Lin Chen, but they would never dare to provoke Xue Lingyun and Ao Xian. Although Li Shan was also an inner disciple, he was not at the same level as Xue Lingyun. At this moment, seeing the two women appear at the same time and chatting happily with Lin Chen, Li Shan and the other three couldn't help but look bitter. It doesn't matter if you leave temporarily, and it doesn't matter if you don't leave. The disciples all around also had their eyes widened with incredulous expressions. Lin Chen seemed to know Xue Lingyun. More importantly, Xue Lingyun actually led Ao Xian to meet an outer disciple. Everyone was shocked. This was not at all like the behavior of Xue Lingyun and Ao Xian. You should know that there were countless disciples in the inner sect who wanted to curry favor with them, but they ignored them. Lin Chen was also slightly stunned. Although he had noticed the two girls Xue Lingyun outside the crowd, he did not expect them to come out at this time. However, Lin Chen reacted very quickly. As soon as his mind changed, he understood the intentions of Xue Lingyun and Ao Xian. He nodded slightly and said with a smile, "Hello, senior sister Ao. You are Lingyun's friend, and you are my friend. Since you are a friend, don't call me senior sister or senior sister. You can just call me Ao Xian from now on." Ao Xian has a carefree personality, and when she saw Lin Chen's reply, she immediately showed a smile on her face. Lin Chen smiled and nodded in agreement. This is a bottle of mid-grade qi gathering pill. I hope Brother Lin will accept it. Li Shan stayed where he was. Seeing that Xue Lingyun and Ao Xian didn't want to talk to him at all, he couldn't help but have a trace of cold sweat on his face. After thinking for a moment, he motioned Ma Liang to come up, took out a bottle of middle-grade qi gathering pill, and handed it to Lin Chen. Although Li Shan has not been in the inner sect for a long time, he knows very well the consequences of offending Xue Lingyun and Ao Xian. If it causes dissatisfaction in the hearts of Xue Lingyun and Ao Xian, I am afraid that the inner sect will be destroyed without them taking action. A large number of disciples came out to cause trouble for Li Shan. You must know that in the inner sect, there are countless talented disciples who are pursuing the two girls. If Li Shan offends Xue Lingyun and Ao Xian, then these talented disciples will definitely not mind showing themselves as flower protectors. Therefore, even though Xue Lingyun and Ao Xian had not even glanced at Li Shan from the beginning until now, completely ignoring his existence, Li Shan and the others still had chills down their spines and fear in their hearts. If Lin Chen wanted their pills and said that he would not pursue them, then the two daughters Xue Lingyun would not pursue them. But if he did not want them, even if the two daughters Xue Lingyun did not move and Lin Chen slapped them, Li Shan would only have I had nowhere to vent my anger, so I just held on. Fortunately, Lin Chen didn't take these people seriously at all. He raised his hand and put away the pills. Without even looking at Li Shan and the others, he walked outside with Xue Lingyun. Xue Lingyun and Ao Xian's ignorance of Li Shan had already made Li Shan feel humiliated. At this moment, Lin Chen turned a blind eye to him, and Li Shan couldn't help but turn purple with anger. At this moment, Li Shan couldn't help but have more murderous intentions towards Lin Chen. In a small pavilion outside the martial arts hall, Lin Chen and Xuelingyun were sitting aside, admiring the surrounding scenery. "Thank you both for helping me out today." Lin Chen cupped his hands and said, "When I get through the secret realm of Tianluo Mountain, I will definitely treat you two to the best restaurant for a meal." Chapter 36 Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xuelingyun and Aoxian smiled knowingly. Immediately, Lin Chen chatted with the two girls for a while, then said goodbye and returned to the cabin. Now there were only a few days before entering the secret realm of Tianluo Mountain. Lin Chen planned to take advantage of these few days to adjust his condition. Looking at Lin Chen's back, Aoxian showed a smile on his face. "They say they are thanking us, but I feel that without us, he would not suffer a loss against Li Shan." Lin Chen had some insights when he was listening to the lecture in the martial arts hall. As soon as he returned to the hut, he immediately pulled out the stainless steel sword and started practicing sword skills in the courtyard. For the next few days, Lin Chen stayed in the courtyard and practiced hard. However, what Lin Chen didn't know was that the battle between him and Ma Liang at the entrance of the martial arts hall was spread from 1 to 10, and quickly spread to the entire outer gate, in a short period of time. Everyone in the entire outer sect knew that Lin Chen, an outer sect disciple, defeated Ma Liang, who was ranked 9th in the outer sect, with his cultivation at the early stage of the 6th level of the body refining realm. You must know that Ma Liang can be ranked as the 9th disciple of the outer sect, and his strength is not something to brag about. He once even killed a level 3 monster with one fell swoop. But at this moment, he was defeated by an unknown outer disciple. For a time, Lin Chen's popularity soared and he became famous. However, at the same time as Lin Chen's popularity increased, the top 10 disciples of the outer sect all noticed Lin Chen and sent their cronies one after another to inquire about Lin Chen's background, fearing that Lin Chen would endanger his ranking in the secret realm of Tianluo Mountain. There is a courtyard on Lin Feng of the outer gate. In the courtyard, a young man of about 15 or 16 years old wearing a green robe is practicing with a sword. His moves are similar to the sword skills practiced by ordinary warriors. Just look carefully and you can find a little difference in his moves. Every time the young man swings the sword, there are wisps of indescribable momentum integrated into it. While opening and closing, it is also hidden and delicate, like a sword but not a sword, like a sword but not a sword. In the outer sect, the only disciple who can display such momentum and such delicate sword skills is Yuan Fei, the first disciple of the outer sect. Yuan Fei was born into a wealthy family and was the legitimate son of the family. He joined the Tianji Sect at the age of 14. In just 1 year, he broke through from the 7th level of the body refining realm to the 8th level of the body refining realm. He was the most powerful among the outer sects of the Tianji Sect. One of the talented disciples with great potential. After practicing swinging the sword for a moment, Yuan Fei stopped, turned his head and looked aside, and suddenly walked in, a warrior in the middle stage of the 7th level of the body refining realm. "How did things go?" Yuan Fei asked calmly while putting away the big knife in his hand. "Brother Fei, I have inquired. Lin Chen was just an unknown outer disciple 3 months ago. At that time, his cultivation was only at the late 4th level of the body refining realm." The warrior said respectfully. Then for some reason, he suddenly enlightened. Not only did his personality change, but his talent also instantly became a genius. In just 3 months, he went from the late 4th level of the body refining realm to the 3rd level of the body refining realm. The early stage of the 6th level. Less than 3 months. Upon hearing this, Yuan Fei couldn't help but show a hint of interest in his eyes. Originally, he just heard that Lin Chen defeated Ma Liang and thought it was interesting, so he sent someone to check. However, after checking, he suddenly found that Lin Chen seemed to be very complicated. Yuan Fei nodded. "Continue." "Yes, Brother Fei." The warrior looked at Yuan Fei with admiration. In addition, it is rumored that Lin Chen has mastered the 7-star sword and the fantasy sword to great perfection. He even used the physical training technique when he fought with Ma Liang that day. "I only started practicing the Dharma in the past month." 7-star chain sword, phantom sword, body training technique. After hearing what the warrior said, Yuan Fei couldn't help but show a hint of surprise in his eyes. Although he practiced swordsmanship, he was well aware of the reputation of the 7-star chain sword and the phantom sword in the outer sect. Among his friends who practiced swordsmanship, none of them could successfully practice these two martial arts. What surprised him even more was that Lin Chen only started practicing the body training technique in the past month. Yuan Fei waved his hand and said, "Okay, you can go practice too." Upon seeing this, the warrior immediately bowed slightly and walked outside. Interesting. After the warrior left, Yuan Fei walked to a stone table, picked up a cup of tea, took a sip, and said slowly, "In 3 months, my cultivation has broken through to the 6th level of the body refining realm, and I have mastered the 7-star chain sword and the phantom sword." He has even mastered the body training techniques to a certain level, and at such a speed, no one, not even the top 10 disciples of the inner sect, can match him. Night, the moonlight outside the house is white, shining through the window of the hut and shining on the wooden bed. In the small room, Lin Chen sat cross-legged on the bed, swallowed a middle-grade qi-gathering pill, then held a middle-grade spiritual stone in his left hand, closed his eyes slightly and began to practice. The entrance to the elixir immediately turned into a torrent, flowing slowly through Lin Chen's meridians. A moment later, a sudden suction force came from the small cauldron in Lin Chen's mind, and in the blink of an eye, the torrent of these middle-grade qi-gathering pills was completely sucked up. After this period of practice, Lin Chen discovered that the higher the grade of the elixir, the longer it would take shouting to purify the elixir. Taking advantage of shouting's free time to purify the elixir, Lin Chen simply used the middle-grade spiritual stones to practice. The true energy in the body circulates bit by bit according to the Qingming Xianyang Gong, slowly absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth in the middle-grade spiritual stone. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth in this middle-grade spiritual stone was extremely large and rich. Lin Chen did not dare to absorb it all at once, so he controlled the speed of refining and absorbing it bit by bit. After about half a cup of tea, the small cauldron in Lin Chen's mind suddenly spurted out a mouthful of extremely pure spiritual energy from heaven and earth and poured into his major meridians. Seeing this, Lin Chen was not in a hurry. He cut off the connection between the true qi in his body and the middle-grade spirit stone, and then mobilized the true qi to refine the pure spiritual energy that spewed out from the small cauldron. The true qi circulated in Lin Chen's body again and again, and as time went by, the true qi in Lin Chen's body became stronger and stronger, and there were signs of a bottleneck. Half an hour later. Hu! Lin Chen opened his eyes and exhaled a breath of turbid air. After several days of hard practice, the true qi in my body has finally increased a lot. Lin Chen closed his eyes slightly, checked the true qi in his body, and a smile appeared on his face. Compared with the 10 outer disciples, Lin Chen's biggest flaw is that his cultivation is lower than theirs, and with a low cultivation, Lin Chen's true qi in his body is naturally much less. Therefore, it is quite disadvantageous for Lin Chen to break into the secret realm of Tianluo Mountain. After all, in the secret realm of Tianluo Mountain, he not only has to compete with other disciples, but also has to face puppets of varying strengths and a large number of puppets. Now that his internal qi has increased a little, this disadvantage has also been reduced. During the day on the second day, Lin Chen practiced swordsmanship in the yard. In the past few days, he took the middle-grade qi-gathering pill to practice at night, and practiced swordsmanship during the day. As the internal qi increased, he became more and more proficient in swordsmanship, especially the sword force. Through these few days of hard practice, Lin Chen has been able to hide the sword force in the swordsmanship. Ordinary warriors cannot see that Lin Chen has mastered the sword force. As time goes by, the news of the opening of the Tianluo Mountain secret realm finally came out from the Tianji Hall of the Tianji Sect. All outer disciples, who have reached 500 contribution points, can participate in this session of the Tianluo Mountain secret realm. And the rewards for this session of the Tianluo Mountain secret realm are quite rich. The top 10 can not only enter the inner gate, learn a martial art in the library, but also get the auxiliary practice pills refined by the Tianji Sect. And there is no such reward for those who are beyond the top 10. After receiving this news, the entire outer sect suddenly became hot, and everyone was excited to compete for the top 10 places in the Tianluo Mountain secret realm. At the same time, in a courtyard, Ma Liang was standing with a handsome young man, chatting with each other. The handsome young man next to Ma Liang, whose cultivation level was at the early 8th level of the body refining realm, exuded a faint murderous aura. This kind of murderous aura could not be possessed by a warrior who had not experienced life and death dangers and had not killed anyone. Then Lin Chen will definitely participate in the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm tomorrow. The two chatted for a while, and the handsome young man suddenly spoke. That's right. Lin Chen has been struggling to earn contribution points in the past few months, just to enter the inner sect by breaking into the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm. He can't not go. Ma Liang nodded slightly, a hint of coldness flashed in his eyes, and he said in a deep voice, Brother Yi, you are ranked 7th in the outer sect, and you are powerful. As long as you and I join forces, it will definitely not be difficult to deal with Lin Chen. This handsome young man is the 7th disciple of the outer sect, Yi Mingjun. Yi Mingjun had been training outside for a while and just came back today. However, he just came back and heard that his old friend Ma Liang was defeated by an outer disciple of the 6th level of the body refining realm. Surprised, he came to Ma Liang to ask. After explaining the situation, Ma Liang immediately invited Yi Mingjun to help him deal with Lin Chen in the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm. Yi Mingjun readily agreed. For him, it was just a matter of convenience to deal with Lin Chen in the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm. After hearing what Ma Liang said, Yi Mingjun smiled indifferently and said, Brother Ma, this Lin Chen is only at the initial stage of the 6th level of the body refining realm. Why do you and I need to join forces? You can leave this matter to me. You will see how I capture him when the time comes. If it was a month ago, Ma Liang would have absolutely no objection to what Yi Mingjun said, but Lin Chen's strength improved too fast, so Ma Liang insisted on dealing with Lin Chen with Yi Mingjun for the sake of safety. Early morning, after Lin Chen simply washed up, he walked out of the hut with a fine steel sword and headed towards the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm of the Tianji Sect. The Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm is located in the center of the Tianji Sect. It is an extremely majestic mountain. On this mountain, there are temples, caves, and dense forests. As if it is another world, the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm has existed since the founding of the Tianji Sect. It was the first sect master of the Tianji Sect who used his great magical powers to arrange various restrictions on this mountain. Later, several sect masters accidentally obtained many puppets with strength equivalent to the 1st to 9th level warriors in the body refining realm in the ancient ruins, and placed these puppets in the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm, which formed the current Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm. After Lin Chen exchanged his contribution points for an opportunity to enter the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm, he found a big tree and sat cross-legged to rest. As time went by, more and more disciples came. They did not all come to enter the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm. A large part of them came to watch the fun. These disciples, some were sitting cross-legged with their eyes closed, some were excited, some were nervous, and each had a different expression. But no one was talking, and each of them looked at the majestic mountain in front of them with a hint of nervousness. About half an hour later, an outer sect elder who presided over the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm finally appeared. Chapter 37, Encircling Lin Chen. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The elder was dressed in green, with a warm smile on his face and a faint sense of pressure. With the appearance of the elder, the disciples around him all turned their heads and looked over here with excitement. Everyone, today is the half-yearly Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm. There are more than 300 disciples participating in the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm. Now, let me announce the rules and rewards. The elder in green spoke slowly. His voice was not loud, but many disciples below could hear it clearly. The elder in green first announced the number of people who entered the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm this time, and then reminded the rules of this Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm. The opening time of the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm is 2 hours. After 2 hours, the exit of the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm will be opened. At that time, the disciples will be ranked in the order in which they walked out. There are 10 people in the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm this time. In addition to being promoted to inner disciples, the top 10 can also obtain elixirs and enter the library to select secret books. However, the rewards received vary slightly depending on the ranking. The first place winner can get a top-grade Earth Spirit Pill, the second place winner a high-grade Earth Spirit Pill, and the third place winner a medium-grade Earth Spirit Pill. The first place winner can choose a low-level Xian-grade martial arts for free when entering the library. Although the second place winner can also choose a low-level Xian-grade martial arts, he needs to pay 1/3 of the contribution points of this martial arts. As for the third place winner, he needs to pay half of the contribution points of this martial arts. In addition, the 7 disciples from the 4th to the 10th place will each receive a low-grade Earth Spirit Pill and the qualification to exchange for low-level Xian-grade martial arts with contribution points slightly lower than the original price. Hearing about this reward, Lin Chen's eyes lit up. The Earth Spirit Pill is a high-level pill unique to the Tianji Sect. Taking it can accumulate a large amount of true energy in the body and reduce the time of cultivation by 1 month. Compared with the geniuses of the inner sect, Lin Chen is inferior in that he has a short time of cultivation. If he can get this Earth Spirit Pill, then it will be much easier to cultivate, but what makes Lin Chen more excited is that he can enter the library to select low-level Xian-level martial arts. Although I can also use contribution points to exchange low-level Xian-level martial arts after entering the inner gate, if I get in the top 10 in this Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm, it will be much easier to exchange low-level Xian-level martial arts. Inner gate disciples need a huge amount of contribution points to exchange low-level Xian-level martial arts. And once you get in the top 10 in this Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm, it is equivalent to exempting this huge contribution point, which is no less than the sound of nature for Lin Chen. However, it is not so easy for Lin Chen to get in the top 10. Among the disciples who participated in the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm this time, many of them have hidden strengths. They could have entered the inner gate through the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm in the past, but they stayed until now just to get in the top 10 and get this reward. But there is still a chance. As long as he rushes to the exit before the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm is opened, Lin Chen may not be able to compete for 1 or 2. There are spiritual objects scattered in the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm that can enhance strength. Now all the disciples who are participating in the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm, please be prepared. The green-clothed elder continued. Damn, I almost broke through the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm last time, I can definitely do it this time. Me too, but I heard that this time there are not only puppets in the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm, but also more powerful puppet beasts. It's a bit risky. The disciples around them suddenly exploded, gritted their teeth, and tried to successfully enter the inner door in this Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm. Click, 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 as the elder's voice fell, several deacons standing at the entrance of the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm immediately opened the entrance and stepped aside. Rows of puppets appeared in front of everyone. These puppets are 2 meters tall, made of black wood, holding knives or swords in their hands, and each stood still. Lin Chen was not surprised by this. This puppet is a product left over from the puppet sect in ancient times. Although it has no wisdom, it can sense the creatures around it and attack them. Hundreds of years ago, a sect leader of Tianji Sect accidentally got the refining method of it when he was out. Unfortunately, the strength of these puppets is not strong, only equivalent to the martial artist of the body refining realm, so Tianji Sect used them to test the outer disciples. Go! In the crowd, no one knows who shouted, and immediately dozens of disciples took the lead in running towards the entrance of Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm. The entrance to Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm is a gate that is dozens of meters wide. Outside the door, you can feel the coldness brought by the puppets inside. Bang bang bang. A sound of weapons colliding came to my ears, and it was obvious that the people inside had already fought against the puppets. Lin Chen mixed in the crowd and walked slowly into the entrance of Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm. Crossing the entrance, there is a majestic square inside, and there are many passages around the square. As long as the disciples follow the passages, they will reach the exit of Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm. Of course, if you want to reach the exit of Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm through these passages, you must pass through various puppets. Break the mountain and break the rocks. Not far from Lin Chen, a young man holding a big knife chopped down at a puppet. The puppet didn't care and raised the long sword in his hand to stab the boy's chest. Seeing this, the boy's face changed, and he hurriedly retracted the big knife that had been thrown out, and turned to resist the puppet's attack. Bang! A dull sound sounded, and when the big knife and the long sword intersected, the boy's body was shaken back more than 10 steps away, and his face was pale and ugly. Hiss, this year's puppets are so strong. Seeing this, some disciples who had just entered the square took a breath. Lin Chen felt a little magical. These puppets were obviously not intelligent, but the swordsmanship they displayed was in line with the rules and powerful. Shaking his head, Lin Chen was about to leave this place quickly, when he suddenly heard the sound of a knife. A puppet holding a big knife chopped at Lin Chen. The cold blade pointed directly at Lin Chen, making some weak warriors around him tremble in their hearts. Ha! Lin Chen turned around instantly and punched the puppet in the chest. Bang! The puppet's body flew backwards in response, and fell to the ground with a low sound. Lin Chen didn't even look at the puppet, stepped out with 2 feet, and walked quickly towards a passage on the left side of the square. Damn, the puppet swordsman was killed instantly. That the warriors around saw this and their eyes widened immediately, looking at Lin Chen's back in surprise. After Lin Chen entered the passage, 3 disciples from another corner of the square also followed into the passage. This passage is very wide, and there are already many disciples in it, fighting with the puppets. After Lin Chen threw out his fist and knocked back a puppet, his internal qi circulated, and he shuttled between the puppets with the Qingyun step, and ran forward quickly. Cut, if I had known earlier, I would have practiced the footwork hard, otherwise I would have rushed forward long ago. A disciple saw Lin Chen's figure shuttle between the puppets and disappear in the blink of an eye, and couldn't help but show envy on his face, and said in annoyance. Lin Chen moved very fast, avoiding the puppets wherever he could, and if he couldn't avoid them, Lin Chen would punch them away. After about half a cup of tea, Lin Chen came to the end of the passage. At the end is the fork of 3 passages. At first glance, no matter which passage it is winding and twisting, like a maze. More importantly, there are many puppets in these passages. These puppets are strong and numerous. Once surrounded by them, even Lin Chen will find it difficult to escape in a short time. Lin Chen chose a passage that seemed to have fewer puppets. Just as he was about to walk in, a dull sound of footsteps came from behind him. In the blink of an eye, 3 figures rushed to Lin Chen and surrounded him in a triangle. Hee, Lin Chen, I let you escape twice in a row. Now you are in the secret realm of Tianluo Mountain. I want to see how you can get out. These 3 people are Ma Liang, Li Chuan, and Ma Liang's friend Yi Mingjun. After entering the square, the 3 noticed Lin Chen and followed him all the way. Finally, they surrounded him before Lin Chen entered the next passage. Li Chuan said in a gloomy tone in excitement. Ma Liang looked at Lin Chen with a gloomy face. Last time at the entrance of the martial arts hall, he was severely injured by Lin Chen in front of many outer disciples. He lost face and hated Lin Chen in his heart. He wanted to kill Lin Chen immediately. Among the 3 people, only Yi Mingjun had a calm face. Yi Mingjun looked at Lin Chen and said, "It's interesting, kid, if you kowtow and admit your mistakes now and give up your cultivation, we can still spare your life." Although Lin Chen had defeated Ma Liang before, Yi Mingjun didn't care much. His cultivation was the early 8th level of the body refining realm. In terms of strength, he was much stronger than Ma Liang, and he knew very well that Ma Liang was very arrogant. Perhaps he was angered by Lin Chen and was careless, so he was defeated by Lin Chen. Therefore, in Yi Mingjun's view, Lin Chen had some martial arts talent, but he was still not his opponent. Lin Chen glanced at Yi Mingjun and said calmly, "I should have said this. If you leave now, I can still forgive you." Yi Mingjun is the 8th level of the body refining realm, but Lin Chen's strength is now different from before. He didn't use his full strength to deal with Ma Liang, so how could he be afraid of Yi Mingjun, who is almost the same as Ma Liang? "Boy, you are courting death." Yi Mingjun's face suddenly became ugly. He originally thought that Lin Chen would kowtow and beg for mercy in fear when he saw him, and then he would destroy Lin Chen's cultivation without hesitation. Unexpectedly, Lin Chen looked indifferent and was not afraid of him at all. Ma Liang said gloomily, "Brother Yi, don't waste your time talking to him. Let's go together and destroy this kid." Ma Liang wanted to kill Lin Chen immediately. He drew his long sword and stabbed Lin Chen fiercely. Almost at the moment when Ma Liang drew out his sword, Lin Chen's hand suddenly moved. With a clang, the fine steel sword came out of its sheath. At the same time, a 1-meter-long sword energy came from the fine steel sword and hit Maoyang directly, 7-star chain sword. Bang! Maoyang felt a huge force coming from his hands, and his body kept retreating more than 10 meters before stopping. Lin Chen stood there, expressionless, as if he had never moved. With the significant improvement of Lin Chen's physical fitness, the power of Lin Chen's 7-star chain sword became stronger and stronger. Under this blow, even though Maoyang was a warrior at the peak of the 7th level of the body refining realm, he was also blown away. Hey, what happened in front? It was Lin Chen and Maoyang. Didn't Maoyang lose to Lin Chen? How dare he come to trouble Lin Chen? But at this moment, several figures suddenly rushed out from the passage. They looked at Maoyang who was knocked away, and then looked at Lin Chen who was half surrounded by Li Chuan and Yi Mingjun. They were slightly stunned and talked in a low voice. After hearing what these people said, even though Maoyang was calm, his face flushed at this moment. If it weren't for Lin Chen, would he be so embarrassed? Chapter 38 Great Mysterious Pill. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Chen, give me your life. Maoyang's anger surged, and he rushed to Lin Chen in 3 steps, attacking him with a sword technique in an instant. Seeing that the disciples behind him were catching up, Lin Chen didn't want to waste time here, so he released a sword force in his body, hidden in a fine steel sword, and stabbed Maoyang with a sword. Lin Chen's attack looked plain and simple, without any fancy, but it contained an extremely fierce momentum. Yi Mingjuan's eyes shrank sharply, and a chill rose in his heart. Earth-cracking palm, Yi Mingjun shouted in a low voice, trying to cooperate with Maoyang to knock Lin Chen away. However, just as Yi Mingjuan's attack was launched, a sudden scream was heard. Maoyang screamed and retreated violently. A blood hole suddenly appeared on his left arm, and blood flowed out. At the same time, Yi Mingjuan's attack also fell on Lin Chen. Bang! Lin Chen's body was glowing with bronze. After being hit by Yi Mingjuan's attack, his body involuntarily retreated several steps, but he remained calm and motionless. Yi Mingjuan's face choked, and he looked at Lin Chen, whose body was glowing with bronze, in disbelief. How is it possible? Under his full-strength attack, Lin Chen was not hurt at all, and even severely injured Maoyang. Before Yi Mingjun could continue to be surprised, Lin Chen, who blocked the palm, immediately turned around and quickly hit him with the fine steel sword in his hand. In the air, a flash of sword light passed by, and an extremely sharp momentum instantly enveloped Yi Mingjun. What kind of swordsmanship is this? Yi Mingjuan's eyes were stern. He saw it clearly. Just now, Lin Chen used this move to severely injure Maoyang. His strength was about the same as Maoyang. If Lin Chen's move could severely injure Maoyang, then he could also injure him. Yi Mingjuan's scalp tingled, and he raised his palm to resist. However, the next moment, Yi Mingjun suddenly felt a pain in his raised arm, and his body flew backwards uncontrollably. 2 swords instantly killed 2 outer sect top 10 disciples. The passage was quiet for a moment, and even each other could hear each other's rapid heartbeats. The disciples around him stared at Lin Chen with their eyes wide open, shocked. Just now, Lin Chen fought with Maoyang and Yi Mingjun too fast, and everyone didn't see what was going on. However, Maoyang and Yi Mingjun were both outer sect top 10 disciples, and their strength was extremely strong. However, at this moment, the two of them joined forces and still lost to Lin Chen. Lin Chen, you dare to hurt Brother Ma and Brother Yi. At this time, Li Chuan on the side suddenly opened his mouth, wanting to say something cruel, but it was a tremor when he said it. Li Chuan stood aside and watched from the beginning. It was not that he didn't want to fight Lin Chen, but that he couldn't get involved in a fight at Lin Chen's level. He came to the secret realm of Tianluo Mountain to deal with Lin Chen, relying on Maoyang and Yi Mingjun. At this moment, Li Chuan saw that the two not only failed to teach Lin Chen a lesson, but were seriously injured by Lin Chen. His face immediately turned pale, and cold sweat ran down his forehead. Hearing this voice, Lin Chen turned his head and looked at Li Chuan indifferently. Seeing Lin Chen looking over, Li Chuan's heart trembled. Thinking of what he had done to Lin Chen during this period, he was even more afraid in his heart, fearing that Lin Chen would retaliate against him. He suddenly shouted, "Lin Chen, there are so many disciples here, do you still want to kill us? We didn't see anything." At this moment, there were already dozens of disciples gathered here. When these people heard Li Chuan's words, they immediately turned their heads away one by one, as if they really didn't see Lin Chen and others in front of them. What a joke! Even Ma Liang and Yi Mingjun, who are in the top 10 of the outer sect, are not Lin Chen's opponents. If they offend Lin Chen, wouldn't that be asking for trouble? Lin Chen shook his head slightly, smiled faintly, and said, "Don't worry, I won't kill you. Killing you will only insult the sword in my hand." As he spoke, Lin Chen strode out, walked in front of Li Chuan, grabbed his collar and lifted him up. "Lin Chen, what do you want to do? You said you wouldn't kill us, do you want to go back on your word?" Li Chuan was relieved to hear Lin Chen's answer, but Lin Chen suddenly lifted him up, and Li Chuan screamed nervously. "I said I wouldn't kill you, so I won't kill you." Lin Chen smiled faintly, and suddenly used both hands to throw Li Chuan's whole body towards a passage with the most puppets. "Ah!" Li Chuan screamed immediately, and his figure was instantly covered by the puppets in the passage. After doing this, Lin Chen walked quickly to Ma Liang and Yi Mingjun, and said with a faint smile, "You should also go and accompany him." Ma Liang and Yi Mingjun's faces were livid, and they were extremely angry at Lin Chen in their hearts. However, they were seriously injured and could not resist at all. They let Lin Chen grab them and throw them into the middle of the puppets. "Ah! Lin Chen, you will definitely regret it." In an instant, screams rose and fell in the passage, and the sound was extremely miserable. The disciples around saw this and shuddered, casting pitying eyes at Ma Liang and the other two. These three people were thrown into the middle of the puppets by Lin Chen, and they were afraid that half of their lives would be gone. You must know that these puppets have no wisdom and are extremely powerful. Although their attacks will not kill Ma Liang and the other three, they can also make them more injured. More importantly, they must resist here for 2 hours. After 2 hours, these puppets will stop attacking. Lin Chen ignored the shouting and cursing of Ma Liang and others, stepped on the Qinyan step, and walked towards one of the passages with fewer puppets. As Lin Chen left, the disciples gathered here also dispersed one by one. Lin Chen wasted a lot of time here with Ma Liang and the other two. Now it is less than an hour and a half before the exit of the secret realm of Tianluo Mountain is opened. He must speed up, otherwise he may not be in the top 10. While stepping on the Qinyan step, Lin Chen repelled the puppets around him and walked towards the end of the passage at a much faster speed than other disciples. After about half a quarter of an hour, Lin Chen finally walked out of the passage. At the end of the passage is a narrow alley, with 2 long and gorgeous palaces on both sides. In this alley, there are dozens of puppet beasts that look very much like various monsters. This alley is too narrow, and the puppet beasts inside are huge, so it is unlikely that Lin Chen wants to rely on the Qinyan step to shuttle through. Fortunately, there are not many puppet beasts inside. Lin Chen glanced at the alley and stepped in without hesitation. Crack, crack, the puppet beasts in the alley sensed Lin Chen's arrival, and all of them moved in an instant. Some raised their sharp claws, while others swung their huge wooden tails and rushed towards Lin Chen frantically. Lin Chen remained calm, his body shook, and his skin suddenly glowed with a dazzling bronze light. Then, he stretched out his fists and fought with these puppet beasts. These puppet beasts were stronger than the puppet swordsmen and puppet knife men outside, but they were still not good enough in front of Lin Chen. Bang 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 bang. For a while, the dull sound in the alley continued, and every time the sound sounded, a puppet beast was blown away. It took less than a few minutes for Lin Chen to pass through the blockade of these puppet beasts. I wonder how far away from the exit this is. Lin Chen thought to himself. According to the experience of the disciples who had passed through the secret realm of Tianluo Mountain in the past, as long as they did not delay too much time on the road, the exit could be seen in about 2 hours at a normal speed. Lin Chen's speed was much faster than that of ordinary disciples, but he could not determine the distance from this place to the exit of Tianluo Mountain secret realm. Lin Chen raised his foot and was about to continue moving forward, but at this moment, he suddenly stopped and looked at a corner in front of him with a look of surprise. Huh! This is the great mysterious pill. Under this corner, there was a crystal bottle with 3 yellow pills the size of a big fingernail. The great mysterious pill, like the chi gathering pill, can increase the true chi in the body of a warrior, but this great mysterious pill is much more advanced than the chi gathering pill. The materials used to refine the great mysterious pill are precious, and even the essence of the inner pill of the 3rd level top level monster beast is added to it, which is extremely effective for warriors to break through their cultivation. Warriors below the 8th level of the body refining realm will more or less improve their cultivation by taking the great mysterious pill. If they take 3 pills at a time, their cultivation will definitely break through. Lin Chen's current cultivation is the early 6th level of the body refining realm. If he takes these 3 great mysterious pills, it will be easy for him to break through his current realm. However, just as Lin Chen picked up the 3 great mysterious pills, a low voice suddenly came from the other end of the alley. Put down the great mysterious pills, you can leave. As soon as the voice fell, a young man of about 17 or 18 years old came over from the other side of the alley. Lin Chen was startled, turned his head, and looked at the young man. The young man was wearing a white robe, elegant, and proud. Seeing that Lin Chen did not listen to him and immediately put down the great mysterious pill, the young man frowned slightly and said in a low voice, I am Zhong Gao, I want this great mysterious pill. What a disdainful and conceited look. He did not take Lin Chen seriously at all. Zhong Gao, the middle stage of the 8th level of the body refining realm, ranked 4th in the outer sect. Lin Chen narrowed his eyes slightly and said, Zhong Gao's face became even more arrogant when he heard Lin Chen's words, and he said, it seems that you have some knowledge and know my name. Lin Chen laughed and said, so it's Brother Zhong, but I have something else to do, so I'm sorry I can't keep you company. Goodbye. After saying this in one breath, Lin Chen used the Qingyun step and turned to leave. After hearing Lin Chen's words, Zhong Gao was stunned, and then his face showed shame and anger. Originally, he wanted to report his name and get the Dushuan pill from Lin Chen without bloodshed. Unexpectedly, although Lin Chen knew his reputation in the outer sect, he didn't care at all. He immediately felt humiliated by Lin Chen and was furious. Seeing Lin Chen turn around and leave, Zhong Gao immediately snorted coldly, you don't know the time. Boy, you want to leave without leaving the Dushuan pill. After saying this, he urged 60% of his true energy and punched Lin Chen. Zhong Gao's attack was very fast, and he appeared in front of Lin Chen in the blink of an eye. As a last resort, Lin Chen stopped the Qingyun step that was almost ready, and instead drew out the fine steel sword, slashing at Zhong Gao. The fine steel sword left several afterimages in the air, accurately attacking Zhong Gao's fist. Bang! As if hitting a piece of iron, a strong force was transmitted from the fine steel sword to Lin Chen's body, and he couldn't help but step back a few steps, but at the same time, he also followed this force and ran towards the end of the alley. On the other side, Zhong Gao also stepped back a few steps, looking stunned and surprised. Although he was arrogant, he was very clear about his own strength. Under normal circumstances, his punch with 60% of his true energy could definitely injure a warrior of the 6th level of the body refining realm, but Lin Chen easily took it and retreated along with the force of his fist. Chapter 39 Mysterious Jade Pendant. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zhong Gao looked at the end of the alley. Lin Chen's figure had disappeared, but he could hear a loud laugh from Lin Chen. Brother Zhong is so powerful. I just got 3 great mysterious pills. I still need time to take them and refine them. I won't accompany you to practice martial arts here. I will definitely make you unforgettable when we meet again in the future. Hearing Lin Chen's words, Zhong Gao's face was so gloomy that water could drip out. Lin Chen crossed the alley and came to another fork in the road. There was a passage on the left, in front, and on the right. There are many passages in the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm, but each passage can be connected to the exit of the Tianluo Mountain Secret Realm, so the warriors inside don't have to worry about getting lost in many passages. Lin Chen chose a passage, stepped on the Qingyun step, climbed over a wall several feet high, and came to a small courtyard. There are many houses next to the passages here, and Lin Chen chose to enter only the most inconspicuous small courtyard. Then, he moved his mind, took out 3 great mysterious pills, and looked at them with a smile on his face. The 3 great mysterious pills were lightly golden in color and the size of a thumbnail. Lin Chen had just taken them out when he immediately felt a pure spiritual energy filling the air. If Lin Chen could refine all the 3 great mysterious pills, his cultivation would surely improve significantly. And at this moment, he was just about to enter the Tianluo mountain secret realm. Once Lin Chen's cultivation level was improved, he would have a much greater chance of entering the top 10 of the Tianluo mountain secret realm. Without hesitation, Lin Chen opened his mouth and swallowed a great mysterious pill. As the great mysterious pill went down his stomach, a torrent suddenly appeared in Lin Chen's body. At the same time, a suction force suddenly came from his mind, sucking all the torrent in. After a short moment, the small tripod in Lin Chen's mind suddenly shook, and a pure spiritual energy of heaven and earth rushed out of the small tripod and flowed through Lin Chen's major meridians. Such pure spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Lin Chen was shocked, and a look of surprise flashed across his face. The spiritual energy of the world in the great mysterious pill purified by the small tripod is many times stronger than the spiritual energy in the middle-grade qi gathering pill. However, the purer it is, the higher the possibility of Lin Chen's breakthrough. The true energy in the body circulates in the great Zhou according to the Qingming Xianyang Gong, and Lin Chen begins to refine the spiritual energy of the world purified by the small tripod bit by bit. 1 great Zhou cycle, 2 great Zhou cycles. As this spiritual energy of the world is refined, the true energy in Lin Chen's Dantian becomes more and more powerful. When Lin Chen completely refines all the spiritual energy of the world, his body suddenly crackles, and the momentum of his whole body rises a lot. Finally broke through. Lin Chen's face flashed with joy. During this period of time, Lin Chen used the middle-grade qi gathering pill to practice every day, but his cultivation has never been able to break through. At this moment, after taking this great mysterious pill, his cultivation immediately broke through from the early 6th stage of the body refining realm to the middle 6th stage of the body refining realm. After his cultivation level broke through, the true qi in Lin Chen's Dantian also increased a lot. More importantly, the true qi in his body was stable, and there was no sign of instability in his cultivation level. Lin Chen took a deep breath, suppressed his excitement, turned his head, and his eyes fell on the other 2 Dashuan pills in the crystal bottle. There are 2 more Dashuan pills. After taking these 2 Dashuan pills, my cultivation level should be able to improve. Lin Chen thought to himself that if it were someone else, it would be impossible to take Dashuan pills to practice in succession. After all, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth in Dashuan pills is very huge. If a warrior of the 6th level of the body refining realm takes it, he may not only fail to improve his cultivation level, but will be injured by the meridian supported by this huge spiritual energy of heaven and earth. And Lin Chen, after being purified by the small cauldron, the spiritual energy is extremely pure. Lin Chen does not need to spend much effort to refine it. In addition, his current cultivation level is already stable, so Lin Chen takes Dashuan pills in succession without worrying about being injured by the meridian supported by this spiritual energy. Without thinking too much, Lin Chen took out a Dashuan pill and opened his mouth to take it again. The small tripod in the mind once again sent out a suction force, sucking away the huge spiritual energy of heaven and earth in the body. After a moment, another stream of extremely pure spiritual energy of heaven and earth rushed out of the small tripod. Lin Chen had a blank expression on his face, and the true energy in his body circulated in the great Zhou according to the Qingming Xianyang Gong. Improve. Improve again. The true energy in Lin Chen's body became more and more mellow as he refined this spiritual energy of heaven and earth. When this stream of spiritual energy was completely refined, Lin Chen even vaguely touched the threshold of the 6th stage of the body refining realm. As long as he crossed this threshold, Lin Chen would immediately become a master of the 6th stage of the body refining realm. But the effect of this big Xian Dan was obviously not enough for Lin Chen to break through to the 6th stage of the body refining realm. The higher the cultivation level, the greater the spiritual energy of heaven and earth required for the breakthrough, but Lin Chen secretly estimated in his heart that if he took the last big Xian Dan, there should be hope for a breakthrough. Continue. Lin Chen did not hesitate at all, and swallowed the last big Xian Dan. After being purified by the small cauldron, a stream of pure spiritual energy from heaven and earth once again surged into his body. The true energy in his body circulated again and again. refining the spiritual energy in the last great mysterious pill bit by bit. Half a quarter of an hour later, Lin Chen, who was sitting cross-legged, suddenly became more powerful, and a strong pressure enveloped the surroundings. The 6th level of the body refining realm is late. What a mellow true energy. Lin Chen's face showed joy. With the help of 3 great mysterious pills, his cultivation finally broke through from the early stage of the 6th level of the body refining realm to the late stage of the 6th level of the body refining realm, break through 2 levels in a row. If others saw it, they would definitely be shocked. After taking 3 Dashuan pills, it would be amazing to be able to break through the 1st level of cultivation, but Lin Chen was promoted to 2 levels in succession. More importantly, with the breakthrough in cultivation and the pure and strong qi in his body, the power of the martial arts performed by Lin Chen has also increased. I believe that Ma Liang, who is facing the peak of the 7th level of the body refining realm at this moment, can easily do it without using his sword power. Defeat him. Suppressing the excitement in his heart, Lin Chen immediately began to think deeply. It's a pity. There should have been some spiritual objects in the place where we passed through the passage before. Every year the secret realm of Tianluo mountain is opened. Tianji Sect will put in many spiritual objects that can enhance the strength of its disciples, but they are basically placed in relatively secret places or with a large number of puppets. The 3 great mysterious pills that Lin Chen obtained were placed in an alley with dozens of puppet beasts. These dozens of puppet beasts are very powerful. If it were other disciples, they might not be able to defeat them, and naturally they would not be able to obtain the great mysterious pill. Lin Chen didn't know beforehand that there would be a great mysterious pill here. He discovered it accidentally after repelling dozens of puppet beasts. Lin Chen shook his head and thought, forget it, snatching the top 10 is important. If I go back to find those things, I'm afraid it will waste a lot of time. Besides, there is still a long way from this place to the exit. I will spread my soul. Just don't miss these things. After calming down for a moment, Lin Chen diffused his soul power, and the scene within 100 meters around him was immediately imprinted in his mind. With the blessing of soul power, Lin Chen can see anything within 100 meters. In this way, you won't miss the things that the sect placed in the secret realm of Tianluo mountain. After spreading out his soul power, Lin Chen jumped up, climbed out of the wall, and appeared in the passage, taking Dashuan pill to break through the cultivation level in the yard. Wasted a lot of time. Lin Chen must move faster, otherwise if he still fails to arrive when the exit of the Tianluo mountain secret realm opens, then he will not be able to enter the top 10 of the Tianluo mountain secret realm this time. Drink. That he knocked away a puppet beast with one punch. After finding the direction, he kicked off his feet and ran towards the exit quickly with Qinyan steps. Along the way, Lin Chen's soul power kept spreading. In this state, he discovered a lot of good things. Lin Chen directly took the spiritual objects from hidden places. As for the spiritual objects placed in places with many puppets, due to time constraints, if they were ordinary spiritual objects, Lin Chen gave up and continued to move forward. Half an hour later, Lin Chen came to the entrance of a canyon. This canyon is extremely wide, with many large trees with lush foliage on both sides. Inside the canyon, there are about dozens of puppet swordsmen and puppet swordsmen. Lin Chen looked at the canyon, and his face suddenly showed a hint of joy. According to the descriptions of disciples who have broken through the secret realm of Tianluo mountain in the past, this canyon is among the dozens of passages not far from the exit of the secret realm of Tianluo mountain. As long as you pass through this canyon and walk a short distance, you will reach the exit of the secret realm of Tianluo mountain. Call. Lin Chen took a breath, pulled out the stainless steel sword, and walked slowly towards the canyon. Click, click. With Lin Chen's arrival, the puppet swordsman and the puppet swordsman in the canyon all moved instantly, making a mechanical sound. 7-star chain sword. Lin Chen raised the stainless steel sword in his hand, and a nearly 1.5 meter long sword energy suddenly shot out from the stainless steel sword, hitting a puppet swordsman accurately. The sword energy hit the puppet swordsman, and the latter immediately kicked back, taking with it several puppet swordsmen behind it. Lin Chen did not stop. While using his sword skills to repel the puppets around him, he moved forward with Qinyan steps. If they were close, Lin Chen would blow them away with one punch, and if they were far away, he would use sword attacks, boom boom boom. For a time, there was an endless stream of sounds of boxing and sword strikes in the canyon. After spending half an hour, Lin Chen finally opened an exit among the puppets and reached the end of the canyon. Each of the puppets here has the strength of a warrior at the 7th level of the body refining realm. If other disciples had come here, they would have been overthrown by the puppets before they had even taken 2 steps. And even Lin Chen would have spent a lot of time. It took half an hour to cross this canyon, which was extremely difficult. Turning his head and looking at the canyon behind him, Lin Chen strode forward and continued walking forward. However, before taking 2 steps, Lin Chen suddenly stopped. Hey, what is this? In his mind, there was a scene within 100 meters with his body as the center. In a stone crevice to Lin Chen's right, there was a box 1 inch long. This stone crevice is located at the edge of the range that Lin Chen's soul power can cover. If Lin Chen takes 2 more steps forward, he may miss the box. Lin Chen walked slowly towards the stone crevice, while his soul power scanned the contents of the box. The next moment, Lin Chen's face showed a look of astonishment. This box can actually hinder my soul power. Soul power is ethereal, and ordinary things cannot hinder the exploration of soul power. However, this box can hinder the exploration of his soul power. More importantly, this box is so amazing, so what could it contain? Chapter 40 Melee. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Chen's curiosity was aroused, and he reached out and grabbed the box. The box looked a bit old, and the sides were even a little faded, as if it had been here for a while. When he opened the box, there was a snow-white jade pendant inside, which looked nothing special. Lin Chen injected a trace of true energy into the jade pendant, but there was no reaction at all. Seeing this, Lin Chen couldn't help but wonder. General spiritual objects will react as long as they are injected with true energy. This jade pendant was injected with my true energy, but there was no reaction at all. What's going on? Logically speaking, the fact that this box can hinder his soul power is enough to show that this box is unusual, and the things it contains, the jade pendant inside, should not be ordinary things. Unable to figure out what the jade pendant is for, Lin Chen didn't think much about it, and put it into the storage spirit ring together with the box. The most urgent thing is to break into the secret realm of Tianluo Mountain. As for the function of the jade pendant, it won't be too late to explore it after becoming an inner disciple. After putting away the jade pendant, Lin Chen stepped on the Qinyan step and quickly headed towards the exit of the Tianluo Mountain secret realm. After a cup of tea, Lin Chen passed through a hall and came to a square. At this moment, more than 20 disciples were standing in the square, and the lowest cultivation level was the late 7th level of the body refining realm. More importantly, right in front of the square, there was a tightly closed door that was more than 10 meters wide. That door was exactly the same as the one Lin Chen passed when he entered the Tianluo Mountain secret realm. It was undoubtedly the exit of the Tianluo Mountain secret realm. Seeing this, Lin Chen couldn't help but reveal a hint of joy on his face. After working hard for a long time, he finally arrived here before the exit opened. At the same time, Lin Chen's arrival also attracted the attention of dozens of people in the square. These dozens of people, whose cultivation levels ranged from the late 7th level of the body refining realm to the peak of the 8th level of the body refining realm, turned their heads and looked at Lin Chen when they saw him coming. The 6th level of the physical realm, when they saw that Lin Chen's cultivation was only the late 6th level of the physical realm, everyone's faces suddenly showed surprise. A warrior in the late 6th level of the physical realm could actually arrive here before the Tianluo Mountain secret realm was opened. You should know that there is a long distance from the entrance to the exit of the Tianluo Mountain secret realm. More importantly, there are various puppets blocking the way. The closer to the exit, the stronger the obstacles of the puppets. Even a disciple of the 7th level of the physical realm will find it difficult to rush through the obstacles of the puppets and arrive here within 2 hours, and Lin Chen, with the cultivation of the late 6th level of the physical realm, arrived at the exit earlier than the average warrior of the 7th level of the physical realm. This kid is quite capable. Humph, but the cultivation of the late 6th level of the physical realm, even if it is powerful, it is not that powerful. If he is sensible, he will stay where he is, otherwise. The warriors around whispered, and after being slightly surprised by Lin Chen's arrival, they immediately looked disdainful. Compared with them, Lin Chen, a disciple in the late 6th level of the physical training realm, seemed the weakest and most vulnerable. Many disciples also recognized Lin Chen and were secretly alert in their hearts. Dozens of people in the square stood aside, closing their eyes to rest. Interesting, interesting. If I remember correctly, this Lin Chen was still in the early 6th level of the physical training realm 10 days ago. In the crowd, Yuan Fei, who was standing against a large bluestone with a big knife on his back, looked at Lin Chen with interest. As the first disciple of the outer sect, Yuan Fei was powerful and was the first to arrive at the square, so he was closest to the gate of the square. In the early 6th level of the physical training realm, he easily defeated Ma Liang. Now that his cultivation has broken through, I wonder how strong he is. Yuan Fei had a smile on his face. After taking a deep look at Lin Chen, he also closed his eyes to rest and waited for the exit of the Tianluo mountain secret realm to open. At this moment, there was still half a quarter of an hour before the exit of the Tianluo mountain secret realm opened. As time went by, more and more disciples came here, and the number of disciples in the square had reached 100. These disciples are all elites of the outer sect of Tianji Sect. They have profound cultivation and powerful strength. They are also ambitious and want to compete for the top 10 in Tianluo mountain secret realm. Lin Chen stood in an inconspicuous corner without any expression. When the disciples in the square saw Lin Chen like this, their disdain became stronger, and no disciples paid attention to him. Time passed little by little, the atmosphere in the square began to become solemn. Everyone opened their eyes and looked at the door in front of them nervously. Dang! Suddenly, a dull bell sounded in the whole square, and at the same time, the door in front of them slowly opened. At this moment, the atmosphere in the whole square was solemn to the extreme. Everyone held their breath and stared at the door in front of them. Click! After a moment, the door opened completely, making a loud click. And the disciples in the square also boiled at this moment. The top 10 is mine. A warrior in the late 7th level of the physical training realm roared, and slapped a disciple in front of him. Humph, I almost made it into the top 10 last time, I can definitely make it this time. On the other side, a disciple at the peak of the 7th level of the physical training realm snorted coldly, drew out his long sword in an instant, and stabbed at the disciple in front who was blocking the way. Like a gunpowder barrel, the whole square was instantly ignited at this moment, boiling and fighting. Even Yuan Fei, the first outer disciple in the front, was not spared. He was surrounded by Pei Liangping, the second outer disciple who was second only to him, and several other outer disciples who were in the top 10, and attacked each other. Originally, Pei Liangping and the other outer disciples who were in the top 10 would not be able to unite, but at this moment, Yuan Fei was closest to the gate and was most likely to leave here first, so these people tacitly cooperated to deal with Yuan Fei at this moment. Ah! Get out of here! You want to grab the top 10, screams and scoldings came from time to time in his ears. Lin Chen drew out his fine steel sword and walked straight towards the gate. Originally, Lin Chen stayed in the corner, and his cultivation was the lowest among the crowd, so no one came to trouble him. At this moment, as soon as he walked out, 2 disciples attacked him immediately. Boy, get out of here! You dare to compete for the top 10 at the 6th level of the body refining realm? You are simply ignorant. The 2 disciples are both at the late 7th level of the body refining realm, but they are unknown in the outer sect. They are obviously hiding deliberately, hoping to make a splash in the secret realm of Tianluo Mountain. However, just as the 2 disciples walked to Lin Chen's side, Lin Chen suddenly raised the fine steel sword in his hand and slashed out 2 swords in succession. Swish! 2 flashes of sword light flashed by. Before the 2 disciples could see clearly how Lin Chen drew his sword, they felt a sharp pain and their bodies could not help but retreat violently backwards. Seeing this scene, the pupils of the disciples next to him shrank sharply, and a flash of fear flashed in their eyes. 1 sword, kill 2 warriors at the late 7th level of the body refining realm in seconds. Lin Chen's cultivation level broke through, and his strength increased again. Now he can deal with warriors at the late 7th level of the body refining realm without any effort. After repelling the 2 warriors, Lin Chen held the fine steel sword and continued to move forward. The square was still in chaos. Yuan Fei fought with Pei Liangping and several other top 10 outer disciples the most fiercely. What surprised everyone was that Yuan Fei was still firmly in the upper hand under the siege of these people, but he was repeatedly stopped by Pei Liangping and others when he was about to rush into the gate. As time passed, more and more disciples were injured in the square, but at the same time, basically few disciples came to trouble Lin Chen. Because in their opinion, Lin Chen, a warrior with the cultivation of the 6th level of the body refining realm, was not worth fighting with them for the top 10. It would not take long for him to be beaten down and he would never dare to join the ranks of the top 10 again. In this way, Lin Chen easily came to a place hundreds of meters away from the gate. 100 meters is not far for a warrior, and it can be reached in a breath. Therefore, this place is almost the place that all disciples pay attention to. Seeing that Lin Chen, a disciple of the 6th level of the body refining realm, actually rushed here, everyone was stunned. A few disciples in the 8th level of the physical training realm also turned their eyes to Lin Chen. At this moment, the top 3 have not yet decided the winner. Lin Chen standing here is not just a simple grab for the top 10, but the first place. For a moment, Lin Chen suddenly became the focus of everyone, but soon, a burst of scolding started. How dare you, boy, you are only in the late 6th level of the physical training realm, and you dare to grab the first place. Come down quickly, or you will know how to write the word death, that the disciples around cursed in a low voice. They were in the 7th and 8th levels of the physical training realm, and they could not rush there. Lin Chen was only in the late 6th level of the physical training realm, but he took the lead and was about to grab the first place. Immediately, some disciples lost their temper and attacked Lin Chen directly. Chen Xiaofeng, didn't get the first place, and you want to grab the first place? A young man in the middle 8th level of the physical training realm shouted angrily, raised his big knife, and chopped at Lin Chen. It was Chen Xiaofeng, who ranked 3rd in the outer sect. The blade was very fast, and the wind was whistling. If this blade was used by another 6th level warrior in the body refining realm, there would be no way to dodge it, and the only outcome would be being attacked. The consequences of being attacked would be absolutely disastrous. Seeing this, Lin Chen, who was about to step into the gate first, could not help but stop helplessly. He was also surprised to be able to come to this place so easily, but as he expected, someone would attack him immediately. Phantom sword, Lin Chen shouted in a low voice, and the fine steel sword in his hand quickly struck out, and the speed was much faster than Chen Xiaofeng's blade speed. Immediately, after leaving several afterimages in the air, he accurately attacked his broadsword. Dang! Sparks flew at the intersection of the two weapons, and the next moment, a look of surprise flashed across Chen Xiaofeng's face. In the previous attack, he used 80% of his true energy, but he failed to defeat Lin Chen, but only pushed him back a few steps. After Lin Chen retreated a few steps, he raised the fine steel sword in his hand and stabbed several swords in a row. The warriors around were all shocked. They thought that Chen Xiaofeng could injure Lin Chen, the ignorant guy, with one blow. But Lin Chen just took a few steps back and raised his sword to fight back. The contempt on Chen Xiaofeng's face was swept away, and he showed a solemn look. The true energy in his body was agitated, and he raised his big knife and chopped several times. Bang 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 bang. In an instant, the sound of swords and knives clashing in the square came one after another. Every attack made the disciples around tremble with fear. You have to know that Chen Xiaofeng is a warrior in the middle stage of the 8th level of the body refining realm, ranked 3rd in the outer sect, and his strength can be said to be the top in the entire outer sect. If it were them, they would probably have been hit by the big knife and fell to the ground unconscious.